This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It's a little bit after, what is it, 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. is when we start the show, right? Somewhere in there.
Picky. Nobody's picky.
Nobody really.
7:02 though, fuck yeah.
I know. But a lot has happened in the past hour. Listeners have no idea what has transpired in the past 60 minutes. My heaven's sakes alive.
If only there was a way we could tell them.
We can. This just in. Oh, my heaven's sakes. But anyway, hi, everybody. Welcome for being with us. There's 4 users in the chat room. It's very odd that we start a show where there aren't already people in the chat room chatting and saying things like they're all... Oh, there's Joe. He just popped in.
Is the chat room broken?
No, it's there. 5 users are online. I think
I know,
that
it makes me laugh when they have conversations on their own.
without us. Like, completely ignore the show, which is fine. We're the glue that holds
the
the
extras.
Right.
We're the extras in their conversation.
Now, you know how I've felt
And the
for 4
sitcom
years
of their
doing this show, for God's sakes. I'm the extra.
Well learned.
I'm producer. That's all I do, it seems like. But it's okay.
You do it so well.
Yeah. It's
Well,
what is it?
Mary Tyler Moore was too. You're okay.
What did you? Was it? You said the streak
The
continues.
streak continues.
I like that because it's not really descriptive enough to be. Is it a good streak or a bad
It's not
streak?
a winning streak. It's not a
it's
losing
just
streak.
The
It's just
streak.
a streak.
It's all right. We are here in Studio C as we are every Tuesday night. This is show number 261. We are 2 weeks away from our 200th show. Kat Carlson is here. Marnie Ryer is on her way. Al Perkins just flew in, and boy, are his arms tired.
Yeah.
You think I'm kidding, people. I'm not kidding. He really just got into town. But anyway, we're here for fun and frivolity, hopefully, for the next 3 to 3.5 hours. If you'd like to join us and you're just listening, by God, there's a chat room you can find. Go to our website. You can find it by going to qtalkamerica.com, and in the upper quadrant of that page, you're going to find a white Chat Now button, and you can join the chat room. If you'd like to save that link, you could do so on the desktop of your mobile phone or whatever and find it at any time to jump in the chat room and see what's going on. Currently, Marnie's girl, Dawn from North Carolina. Hello, Dawn. Kat, Joe D, and Missy Al are there. I'm sure my mom is listening somewhere. She'll get there. My heaven's sakes alive.
Everybody will find them.
They'll figure it all out. I got an email through our info at qtalkamerica.com, if you don't already know what the email is. I got an email from a gentleman who listens to us while he runs. I think it's what he's like, believe it or not, I listen while I run, blah, blah, blah.
Someone
is he
running
running
from the
away?
sound of my voice.
I'm not sure. Not sure. But he says, I've heard you talk about the chat room. I don't know how to find it. So, and because the chat room, the way that it's programmed, it only shows live on the website if we're live.
Right.
And obviously that's the only time it really works because nobody else is in the chat room. But
lonely to chat
I
by
just
yourself,
I
yeah.
saved myself a link because some people really don't go to the website at all, which is fine. They just literally listen. They know when we're on. They go to YouTube. They listen to us. So I'm going to start sending out the link that gets you right to the page so that they can just save it and not have to go through the website, do all the other bullshit. That, they
And
have
what
to-
is our email again?
info at qtalkamerica.com.
I did not know that.
Who knew?
Yeah. Or like everybody else really does, because we were just talking about the fact that Facebook has just become the way that everybody communicates.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yep.
we have our own group chat here, so if we can update people, those are our mini production meetings for, are you going to be there? Yeah, all right, who knows, whatever.
Hey, you coming? Meeting adjourned.
Quality
So
production.
a lot of people do find us through there. We do get several comments that people find us on the Facebooks and send little messages to us about. In fact, I just got a message from somebody listening to a previous week's show, the one called Foggy Bottom, and he said, "Hi, I love you guys. Keep it up." So I'm like, all right,
That's so nice.
Viewer mail.
yeah,
Foggy Bottoms.
Foggy Bottoms.
Top's also welcome.
For those of you also watching the video on the YouTubes, thank you for that. I'd like you to know that there are no technical difficulties. Do not adjust your flat screen,
I
your
was waving at the
smartphone.
people that were watching.
Al is wearing a blue shirt. So I just want you to know that is a blue shirt.
It's not green.
Actually, if you look at the screen, it kind of goes with the Q Talk America logo in the center there. It's kind of a complementary.
It gives it a purpley hueish.
It's a complementary color.
Well, it's almost as if we've all worn our colors. Look, you can see right there. There's kind of the gray color that I'm wearing, and then, I can't reach that far because that's not my shot.
And this is where I get my arm amputated.
It's been a while since you've been here, it seems like, Kat. Do you remember how television works?
Where's the audience? I can't see them.
And this part down here is not visible to you, the viewer.
No.
So I'll stop that story now.
So that's why news anchors can always wear Bermuda shorts below their blazer, because what's going on down here, we don't know.
We were going to show you the weather in Florida, but the camera cut it off. So
The penis of America, ladies and gentlemen, right there.
Just have to wonder.
It's going to be
I
humid.
was missing my green screen is what was happening.
Well, as soon as here's one of the things I don't understand. Though everything majoritely is working technically fine, even though the sign is still consistent, shows
We're going to find something to fuck up soon.
Yeah.
No, but it's usually me that fucks up. Like I play the wrong sound or I stack the tracks wrong. I do something. But as far as the technical, like the equipment, I think we're good. Like the improvements that I made to our PC are all as well. But for some reason, for the life of me, I cannot figure out what it is. The wireless cameras, like the kitchen cam, doesn't work anymore. The overhead cam doesn't work anymore. And I can't green screen anymore. So I'm not sure. I have a feeling that it's their way.
You win some, you lose some.
Well, yeah, but I think what it is, I think
the man keeping us down
the
is
people
what
that manufacture the software that we use, so like, well,
Just said that's enough.
he's used that software. Let's disable that and make him upgrade to the next level for $500 or $600 some odd dollars.
That feels like a lot.
But if we do upgrade though, because this is the fun part. If we upgrade, we get to do virtual studios, which is fun, where you could be in a complete green room and you can fly in full desks and setups and things that are different. Could be very fun.
I could be Wolf Blitzer.
You could be.
In this story, am I flying? Like, I didn't understand how that worked.
Maybe.
Either way, it's going to be action-packed.
Could be. We have to paint my entire living room that color green.
Beautiful
I'm
color.
sold. You know what?
Yeah.
I'm going to start a GoFundMe.
I want to live in that place.
Yeah.
And I'm going to entitle it, Make Al Fly.
Yeah. That's the part that I heard, that I was flying in. I'm like, Jesus Christ. All of a sudden, I'm Peter fucking Pan.
No, you can fly in sets. Like you can bring in virtual sets. No glasses required.
Wow. That's some kind
Right
of
away.
weight limit on that thing.
The zip lines are
Yeah.
really strong. Careful, don't pee on anybody.
Dirty.
Sounds terrible. Listen, there's a GoFundMe every time I turn around. In fact, one of them today scared the crap out of me.
Okay.
Because it was a GoFundMe for Cat's hip replacement.
Oh, was it K
K-A-T,
Cat?
yeah, K.
Oh,
And I was like, wait.
I don't feel bad.
Stand up, sit down, stand up, sit down. No,
Still,
I feel okay.
Work a little bit. Yep, they're both working.
did you find out who this cat was?
I'm not
That sounds
sure.
like a 70s
She
movie.
spent 5-6 minutes in a hula hoop, just to be sure.
You've clearly never seen me try to hula hoop.
Oh, you
I
don't want
didn't
to see
say
me.
they were a successful 5 or 6 minutes. I just said you were in it.
The streak continues, cat.
You were being trapped by said hula hoop.
The streak continues. No, I was very concerned, and so of course I clicked on it,
Oh yeah. How much is that cat?
hoping that it
raise?
wasn't me. So far, she has raised $28.
No. Was that what's the goal of this?
I think it was
I
$500.
have-
You're not
Aside
going to
from
find
hip,
it.
no. I mean aside from hip replacement, what's the goal? Monetarily is what I meant. I know what the fucking goal is, dumbass.
New hip. I'm going to see if I can find it because I should have saved it, but I didn't. I was stunned.
Oh. Well, I bet you can.
Stunned.
It's
But
on GoFundMe.
It doesn't. It's on GoFundMe.
Hip replacement for cat.
Cat's hip replacement.
Okay.
Yeah. But it had like a vague picture, and I kind of think I know who it is.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of do.
You're not the only cat in the world.
That's a true story.
I mean, but how many? Oh, do you all like know each other like all the gays? Like
No.
you know, like well, he's gay. Do you know him?
there's
of course.
there's a Facebook chat that
His
I
name
belong
is Steve.
to.
Yeah, best friends.
It's like all the black people. Do you know? Oh, you know
Yeah.
Lamont? Well, sure I do. We're at the club every weekend.
No, my name's not Denise. That's the other one, and I don't know where to get you pot. You remember when Queen Latifah was on SNL?
No.
And she was going through all the black stereotypes of working at an office job, and she's like, no, my name is not Denise. That's the other one, and I can't get you pot.
Oh.
Very funny.
I like it.
Well, we hope Kat
Oh,
gets
look,
her.
there it is. I
Oh,
found it
she
right
found
there.
it. She
Look,
found it.
Click here to support Cat's hip replacement
Oh,
surgery.
she has a piercing.
I know.
Wow,
Okay.
she looks youthful.
Yeah.
I know.
Poor thing.
Local.
Sad.
So, do we know more about his cat's?
No, because when you click on it, there's no like additional
It's
information.
just $28 chilling in her.
Hang on, let's
in her
see.
account. Maybe she's gone
Find
out.
out. Ooh, 155.
Oh,
The goal is $50,000, and they're at 155.
holy
All
shit!
right.
50K. Wow.
I created this GoFundMe page for Kat because it's something she would never do for herself.
Oh.
Any of you who knows her know Kat's hip has always been a
Well,
source
we'd like
of
to
pain
know her, but
for
we can't click anything else.
Right. I don't know who the fuck she is.
It's always been a source of pain.
Always been a source
Always.
of pain.
Always.
Always.
Wow.
It was uncomfortable for me for many years, but I didn't want to bring it up.
You gonna take this hip with you? Come on, get it out of my house.
Can't listen to you bitch about it anymore. I'm gonna go start a GoFundMe and get that shit taken care of.
Well, Tiffany Walsh has donated
Oh,
$20.
there's Ms. Ryer. She brought apparently a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Oh,
Oh, look at oh, now I know what that is. That's
got
both the
Kit
left
Kat bars
left
and-
and right Twix
M&M.
or Kit Kats.
oh my
It looks
goodness.
like, it looks like the only version of a ball pit that I would ever want to really
Yeah.
dive into.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I kind of want to.
By the way, that's not a metaphor. Ball pit is not
Yeah.
a metaphor.
No, like in Chuck E. Cheese.
This does look like a ball pit, though.
I know.
Well.
And I want to be miniaturized, and I want to dive.
Oh, you could be the
Dive
incredible
into it
shrinking
right now.
cat, and then you could dive in the balls there.
Very nice.
Stop.
It's just a great Friday night for Kat Carlson, ladies and
Everyone
gentlemen. She's in
stop.
the ball pit. She's ready to go.
Got the balls flying at my
Got my
mouth.
new hip.
Got your new hip. Yeah.
Oh, you are so sweet.
Yes. God, Marty's pulling out all the stops right here at the top of the show. Look at her. Look at her go.
She's a busy girl.
God damn.
Very busy.
God, look at you got all that. Did you bring electronic devices too? You are loaded for bear, bitch. Look at that.
So many
Good to
things.
go.
My God, you're
So busy.
You're
Very
dump
busy.
fat. You're John Taylor. What's his name? What's his name?
funny.
John Oliver.
Oliver.
John Taylor. I'm
John
thinking of Duran
Taylor.
Duran.
Yeah. Want to start a band?
It was all band. Oh, speaking of which, did you happen to see the footage?
Don't say it if you don't mean it.
Did you happen to see online the footage? I guess Paul McCartney did a concert in Minneapolis and did "Let's Go Crazy."
Oh, I didn't know.
But it was like only a 2-minute. It was a short version, but it was just cool. All of a sudden, he comes out of whatever he's doing and just starts starts going right into it, and then the sign comes up behind him on the screen, and the crowd goes nuts because
I
he's in
think I need to
Minneapolis.
just sit down
That's
and watch
fantastic.
all of these tributes because there's been so many of them, and
Yeah.
I lost track.
Yes. I
Just
would
have
agree.
like tribute day.
Yeah, because I never saw the Adam Levine one.
I wasn't as happy with that. It was okay when he started, and then another guy started to sing, and I'm like, no, I'm done because
Oh,
I
yeah.
just wanted to hear Adam Levine do it.
I just want to watch him. Can you take your clothes off and sing that song? Is that possible? He likes
I mean,
to be
Prince
nude.
Prince did that a lot when he sang.
Yeah.
He liked to be a lot of nakedness.
Well,
I appreciated
Adam Levine
it.
is always getting photographed naked. He likes.
Yeah,
he really
he's-
does enjoy having his clothes off.
He is.
He's a nudist, if I'm
get it.
pronouncing that correctly.
Oh, a nudist. Marnie's getting very sad. She's got to get all of her shit together. She's got how many bells? Wait, why do you have 3 bells?
I have no idea.
Well,
but-
one goes over there.
Well, I didn't
No.
steal it. for
No.
heaven's
I'm
sake.
not. No, I'm not accusing you of. I'm not.
Well, because
theft.
Al's is
Well, if she
here,
were a bell,
Cass is
she'd go
there.
ding dong.
Ding dong ding. See, now I
Does
can
this one
double
belong
bell it.
here?
I don't like your second bell. I hate those. I keep meaning. You know what I do?
And you know what? The more you say it, the more attached I
I
become
keep
to
forgetting.
it. I'm like a 12-year-old.
I keep forgetting during the week. I keep thinking I'm going to come in here and get rid of them, and I forget until we sit down for the show, and then you
then
do
we
them
annoy the
again.
shit
Yes.
out of
Don't get rid of them. Just cut the clappers out of them.
No, do not sexually castrate my bell.
Yeah.
You're-
Neuter the bells.
We have to watch out for those clean copper clappers from Clara, the cleaning lady. I'll
I'm going
clobber
to take
'em.
mine home with me.
You do that because I'm sure in the midst of you,
Yes.
you sharing all of your good music with your neighbors who are forced to listen to good songs.
And that's what they've been needing is this
The
bell to
We need
accompany
more
me.
cowbell.
Yeah.
A good vice grip and a little twist, and that won't
yeah.
ring anymore.
Wow,
Yeah.
that
Maybe I should just
No.
hang a couple of those from the ceiling, and so you have to really
I feel like I just got gay bashed. What the hell was that?
I'm
how
not sure what to do with that.
I don't know. She was put me in
It's
a
little
fist and
creepy.
twisted me or something.
Vices?
no vice grip. That's a tool.
Similar.
That's
Yeah,
like a pair of
well,
pliers.
It doesn't sound like a fun thing to do,
doesn't,
though.
no.
The safe word is pineapple.
Wait a minute. No, it was Philadelphia.
Philadelphia.
Cream cheese.
Why are you
Cream
screaming
cheese.
cream cheese?
No. When you come to my house, it's pineapple.
Then it turns
Oh,
to
it's pineapple at your house. I don't know that we have a safe word in the house here. Oftentimes it's no Maggie. That's one of my favorite phrases.
Uncomfortable.
No, I mean because she's just so goddamn needy. I got a thank you letter from the vet.
I'll think
I did
through
get
that.
it. I got a thank you letter from the vet because I took her there because I thought something was wrong with her, and it comes out she's just a 15-year-old cat that's just whiny. I'm like, well, what if? It's kind of like me.
Yeah.
Getting approaching 50. I don't know what. Wait, what's 15 in cat years? 15 times
Several.
7. It's a lot. She's old.
45. I mean, I don't
So
know.
old,
I
can't
just
even
made that
bother
up.
to do
I was
the
told
math
there'd be
now.
no
What's a
math.
cat life?
Isn't it 7 times? Isn't it just like a dog?
Oh, I don't know.
7 times. I don't know. Carry the 1. 5, 36. She's 105.
Would you like that? I just threw out a number. 45. Will that stop this conversation?
I'm like, 7 doesn't go into 45. Even I know that. And I'm not good at
I'm
this
going to just
now.
let the jokes go. My God. Do not castrate my bells. New
Yeah.
political campaign. Amina, and we're going to use it. Is Chuck E. Cheese a metaphor? No. It's
Often, but in this
Yeah,
case, no.
No.
No. It's a fun place where skee ball and tickets run freely.
Yeah. Oh, skee ball. That's a good time.
Skee ball.
It is a
I
good time.
suck at
I
that.
never, I think maybe once or twice, but I was never an aficionado at the skee ball.
I throw overhand.
He's throwing at all the carnies.
Win this puppy! Win this puppy! Wham!
When you both said I'm bad at that, I'm like, how can you be bad at something so stupid?
Oh, I just am. I can't.
I just had the visual. Of you
I don't.
just
Not in the middle.
Just
I'm bad at this.
wailing it at the glass.
I feel like that was a cut scene from Steel Magnolias when they were at the state fair.
The fact that it played from my head was what made it funny.
Somebody was throwing overhanded.
I was not going to spit out that line.
No, please don't do that.
Oh, well, Al makes an exodus to the kitchen to try to refill a glass. We'll continue on with what did you do over the past week?
What's been going on?
What's going on, Kat?
Not a lot. Eric at Service King finally had a good day.
Oh my God! I wish we should.
Yeah.
I wish we
made
could
sure,
call
I made sure
him.
to alert the staff. I don't. Martin, did you hear this story?
Oh yeah, I told you that he
Oh,
told
that's
you
right, you
about
were here.
being a little boy.
No,
Wasn't
no.
here.
Well, you were
Yeah.
you were over there.
I was there.
That young man's van is really
Yeah,
never going to get
man's
saved.
fan is- I haven't even fucking looked at that young man's
He
van.
finally called me about 2 days later.
How you doing, Eric?
How's it going, Eric? Good, real good. Having a great day.
I listened to the show and well,
I was so happy to
forgot
hear
to
he
look
had
at it.
finally had a good day.
I was happy about that too.
Yeah.
As it turns out, I know the listeners are dying to know that, things weren't fitting right because the front end of the frame was a little bit twisted, and so he had to torque it back into place,
Okay.
into square, as it were. And he pointed out to me that there's actually guide holes in the frame that would have helphed him with that if he'd have known what he was doing.
all of this.
Oh! All of a sudden,
that into sex
all of a sudden, is there a
somehow.
warranty voided somewhere?
He was so hilarious because he walks me around and he pops the hood. He's like, "Yeah, you see these holes? Well, that's how you square up the front of the frame. I found that out later."
Oh wow.
Wow. So is there
know.
some sort of a school he was supposed to have gone to?
I'm not really
We'll
sure.
never know.
I hope we don't have another wreck. I hope not.
But
So
I'm just glad he had a great day.
and
so
you're driving back around the family
the
truckster?
van is back in action.
Atta girl.
No, my purse is back. I have my nail clippers back.
Better than ever, huh?
No,
Good.
everything's back.
I feel good about it.
Other than that, I finally have an abundance of free time.
Oh, well, book season's over right now.
Yeah, book
Okay.
fair season is just about over. I've got
Okay.
a couple of straggling jobs to do for Scholastic, but then that's over for the summer. And I work my measly little 3 days at the bar, and I have nothing, and I've turned down all extracurricular projects, so I'm ready. I'm ready.
Wow.
It's pool season.
Yeah.
I'm very
It's
excited.
I had my toes in again today.
Oh.
I feel like I could even go in up to the knees.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
no,
Would you have a thermometer in your pool?
I do. It's
And what do you think is the right temperature?
80.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No,
Yeah.
no. Right now my pool's sitting at like 74, so it's
All
I
right.
could do it. I'm just
Yeah,
being
on a
big-
really hot day, you can jump into 74.
I'm just being a big pansy about it. I could totally
Oh.
get into this pool. My kids have been in like
Well,
three
it's
times
because,
already.
like in Arizona, the pool water is just soup. So
Right.
you can't take tepid when you're used to like boiling hot.
I know. I want this thing to be a hot tub, and come August, it's gonna be.
Right. Regardless, it's just going to be hot.
Through
So
to
now
in and
just
out.
about late September.
Oh, so now I'm just antsy and irritated about it. So yeah, so now I have lots of time for podcasts, breaking news.
Yeah.
Google Play, after like 12 years of iTunes doing it, Google Play, which is the Android feeder of apps and music and movies and things, is finally carrying podcasts. Hopefully soon we'll be able to figure out how to put the show with Clayton McKee on that. It seems really easy.
Or maybe you listeners will be able to figure it out on your own.
Well, but the benefits are, and I've had a few people talk about how on their iPhone they go to iTunes, they subscribe to the show, and it just downloads for them whenever we decide to upload it.
Right.
And it's
Rude. I felt I was gay bashed.
Yeah.
it wasn't a bash; it's just a
I'll get you
thing.
when I think of it. Yeah.
Sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's next Friday.
Yeah.
But they're always in sequence.
Absolutely, always one after the other.
Yes.
But it will automatically download to you. Being an Android user, that's never been a feature for me. I've always had to seek it out.
Okay.
Even when I was just a listener, I was always like, oh, Wouldn't it be amazing if it would just automatically feed to me so that I just knew that it was there and I didn't have to go seek it out because I'm a lazy American. I don't want to have to.
Right.
Oh,
I don't want to have to go check the website to see if they've updated a new thing yet.
Got it.
I just want it to come to me. So the Google Play Store will hopefully, for the Android listeners that may want to subscribe going forward, will feed it to them. I have, in exploring the new options of the podcast, I've discovered that there's a podcast that is currently being recorded that is two guys that are rewatching The West Wing
Oh my god!
and doing an episode by episode analysis.
That is funny.
And it's very inside baseball. It's Josh. I can't remember his last name. He plays the Attorney General guy on Scandal. Real nerdy with the glasses. He's a
yeah.
yeah.
I know who you mean.
It's him and this other guy, and they just sit there and just like kind of tear them apart and the plot lines. And this is happening now. Like they started 6 weeks ago. They're still on the first season in their podcast.
They're Mystery Science Theater doing this show, right?
Specifically just on the West Wing.
Okay,
That's fantastic though, because I love that's one of the biggest.
Well, I was listening to it on the way here.
Yeah.
I'm mocking it, and yet I subscribed.
Right.
Like
And
you
I
do.
love the subscription feature on the iTunes or on this fucker.
No.
Because it does the things that I do subscribe to appear every week, and it's time to listen to another one. Like, did they just come to
A
me?
notification just comes, right?
Right.
So now Android users will be able to enjoy that same joy in podcasts. I also subscribed to, it's from the website How Stuff Works. It's called What You Missed in History Class. And
That sounds fun.
it is very fun, and it caught my eye because the very first, or the most recent one, is about Hercules Mulligan, which if you have listened to Hamilton, which is the theme of all of my things lately, probably for the next like 3 months still.
Yeah.
I'm still like
Probably,
3 months
right.
into this obsession.
'Cause I'm going to reinforce it from here on out.
Yeah, no, please do. Was a Hercules Mulligan was a great friend of Alexander Hamilton. Yes. Oh, so good. Anyway, so he's
I love that part.
no, and I had an amazing day today because I had zero things to do. So I'm like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find a couple of sound clips because I feel like we need Hamilton sound clips for the show.
Yo, what time is it? Showtime!
That's right.
She was bored.
Hamilton.
I spent the day going, what else could I clip out? Oh, what about when? And there were a couple that didn't work. Like I really wanted to get.
The longest one you sent me was 6 seconds. The other ones are 1 second.
What did I send you that was 6 seconds? Was that Showtime?
What did I miss?
Oh, yeah.
I did, just delighted by it.
Isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, for my birthday, I got myself Hamilton, Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder,
Oh,
and then
so
the
good.
soundtrack to that movie Sing Street. Did we talk about Sing Street last week?
Uh-uh.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
We'll have to later.
But you went
That might be the entire entertainment section.
That'll be amazing. Look
the
forward to it.
entire, right.
But I feel like that's the end of what I've been doing. 'Cause
Okay.
it's podcasts and Hamilton and podcasts.
And because we just
Hamilton.
passed the weekend, I would assume that there was some festivity involved with Last Sunday and Mother's Day with your family and the
yeah.
kids.
No, it's really low key. My kids are the great ruiners of all special occasions. And so
Okay.
Sharon and I, we kind of talked to it because we've been through this a few times. Like, there are many a birthday and Mother's Day and Christmas that have just ended in someone crying.
All right.
And it's not always me.
Right. Not always.
So we, we kind
That'd
of,
be unfair to other people. It's got to be somebody else.
we try to learn as we go. And so we've been, lowering the bar of expectation
Of the children.
of the children
Okay.
and just of the day in general.
Okay. All right.
You know what I mean? So Mother's Day was very nice. We were all just kind of home together and watched a movie and did a little yard work and went to lunch. Like, it was nothing.
Just a
nothing
Sunday,
magic. Right. It was
okay.
it was a very nice Sunday at home all together. It was special because it happened on a dad weekend, and they finally figured their shit out with that. So the kids came home Saturday night and didn't leave until Monday morning. So they were
Oh,
home
that's
for
good.
all of Mother's Day.
Oh, okay.
And that will reciprocate when Father's Day happens to fall on a mom weekend. So,
Got it.
because there's been a couple of years where it's been like 4 hours and that's it, because it's always fallen on the wrong weekend.
And
so
that
that's
seems
nice.
like something you could plan in advance, since those
I feel
dates
like,
don't
yeah.
change.
Yeah, I feel like
The
that's
second
something
Sunday
that
of
you can
every
work
May
around.
and the third Sunday of every June. Just write it
Just
down, people.
figure it out. I know. Well, but Sharon and the ex are a
And
little
by the
slow
way,
to figure things out.
heads up,
sometimes.
Christmas, same day every year.
No. And
Well,
they'll
same
fight
date.
Not the
something
same
over that.
date.
Well, date. No, that's what I mean. The
Yeah.
same day. Like Thanksgiving is
Right,
always the
right.
third
But
Thursday.
when you're doing
but the 25th of December.
when you're doing planning of whose week it is,
Yeah.
okay, this is this Sunday, this is that Sunday, so
Right. But yeah, there's been fighting back and forth. So it was just a really nice day. We didn't do anything terribly special.
All right.
We made it through lunch without anyone crying or being sent to the car.
Sent to the car. Oh, now on occasion, is that ever you that get sent to the car?
God, I wish.
Yeah.
I've been bad. Can I leave?
Yeah. Sometime either just before I was born or just after I came along, my mother would tell the story about going to a pancake house for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it all fucking going wrong. Like, the children were monsters. Could have been me. Don't know.
Oh, sure.
I have no memory of this and have never went out. We never went out anywhere on Mother's Day.
Yeah.
And then because my mom was like, absolutely fucking not. Did
And
that once, saw the dark side of that moon, and we're out of here.
I was fairly against it because Mother's Day is like...
We can stay home and eat whatever the hell you want.
Mother's Day is a special kind of hell, like, in restaurants in general. But we went out at, like, 3 o'clock in the afternoon for a lunch, and it was nice because it was...
Yeah.
It was, the dinner crowd wasn't there yet. The lunch crowd was gone. We were pretty much unattended and left alone. And
All right.
we went someplace with liquor, so everyone is happy.
Smart.
Wow.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, Tim and I went for lunch at the Madonna Inn on Highway 1. Not really thinking about the fact that it was Mother's Day.
Oh.
And we went to brunch at a fancy hotel, and, like, they got us in. They were really nice about it, but I'm like... And it took us a while to be like, what the fuck is going
are all
on?
these
And then we're
people
like,
here,
oh,
right?
we get it.
What in the hell is going on?
But one of the fun things was all the cakes in the like they had all these special, like, people had ordered cakes, I guess, to have. I didn't know there was
I didn't know that
there was a
you
cake
did
occasion.
Cake on Mother's Day, but
cake
now
But sort of
now
all
I
the
want
beautifully
to.
decorated cakes and stuff. Then we just kind of wandered around and let the children tear the restaurant apart once we were done. All right, I'm gonna finish this last bite of egg, and then you can burn the fucking place down behind me.
I was in the Madonna Inn one time years ago when Elaine Stein, because she used to vacation in St. Louis Obispo. So one time when I was out, she made a reservation and we went over and she's like, you just got to go in the bathrooms. It's amazing. You've got to go through the whole thing. And it's a lot to take in the Madonna Inn.
It's just gorgeous.
And it has nothing to do with Madonna the singer. For those of you who
It's
think,
the Madonna.
right, it's
The other lady.
but it's gaudy as hell, that place.
People don't even know who Madonna is anymore. I was at the bar on Saturday and, showing, like, clips and show tunes and stuff, and I always kind of do the carpool karaoke's because they're very fun. And the most recent one had George Clooney and Julia Roberts, like, pop into the back of the car. And some drunken dumbass homo screams, "Oh my God, it's Madonna!" when Julia Roberts gets in the car, and I just went,
How would you confuse that?
"Get out of my bar right
Drink your juice,
now."
Drink your juice. I don't know. How do you confuse that?
I don't
Well,
know.
I told you about the
don't
guy
know.
that came to my house for Obama's inauguration and was like, "Why do you guys talk about Whitney Houston singing? She's the lady from the reality show."
Oh, boy.
Oh,
oh.
yeah.
Bye-bye!
Why are you in my house?
Your only point of
Wow.
reference for her is that, like, no real idea that she was a singer.
Right.
Did you gently escort him from the premises?
I screamed a lot.
All right.
They dated for 3
Same thing.
weeks. They dated for 3 weeks.
Oh.
Then Al found out that he didn't even know who Barbra Streisand was, and he goes, "And now we're done."
Sad. Martin, what you been doing?
Well, I went to Mr. Barry Manilow. with
Oh, you
Mom
did? Yeah,
last
down in
week.
Tucson.
Yep.
I was listening to Manilow today, in fact.
It was
Yeah.
fantastic. He also did not do a tribute to Prince.
He did not.
No.
I just really don't know how he would have spun that, because there's not a
Opportunity
lot
missed.
of key changes in Prince songs.
Well, that's true. But he does play the piano like a motherfucker. So I kind of thought that something might happen, but no. And
No?
lots of purple there. Anyway, it was very good. We had a really fun time driving down there and just laughing and talking.
It was just you and Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so did that. And then last night we got to take another special trip to the urgent care because she.
Was there a Prince tribute there?
It was called Let's Go
One
Crazy.
guy can play guitar. I heard him.
Yeah. Let's Go Crazy and I Would Die for You are running through my head.
Oh gosh, yeah. Not Darling Nikki. No.
No, not that one.
Not with her mother.
Darling Sicky.
Yeah.
Stop it.
But she decided that we have one of those stovetops that are they get real hot. What are they called? Like they get real hot and then it just kind of
Stove.
No, just
Stovetop.
They're the
Pyrex.
Like a glass top.
glass top.
Okay,
right?
like I
and,
have.
Yes,
Okay.
and she just forgot to pay attention to the little it's
Red
still
light?
real hot button.
Yeah.
And went to wipe something off of
Oh, burned her little
But-
fingers.
like
Oh, melted them right off.
really
Okay.
pretty good.
All right.
So We went. We did that. That was super fun. I may or may not have caught the Zika virus. Not sure.
Were they just giving it out? Handing it out?
Oh, yeah. People just walking through the door, and lots of people with no manners. Lots of people.
Really, in an emergency room?
Urgent care. And,
okay.
So
They're usually a little bit more polite in the
I thought they
urgent
were
care.
a little bit more polite there, correct. So I'm like, oh my God, quick coughing.
Okay.
I'll
Oh,
yeah,
fucking
please.
tell you.
All right.
I went to my first Jewish thingy.
Could you be more specific,
Specific,
please?
Absolutely.
Did they know
Are
you
we
called
at
it a
bar
thingy?
mitzvah? Are we at a bris? Are we at a
Sammy Davis Jr. concert?
It was a bat mitzvah, but it was for two girls for twins, so it was called a bat mitzvah.
So bat mitzvah when it's for a girl.
Bat mitzvah because they were twins.
Okay.
I didn't know how to pluralize it.
Yes, bat mitzvah.
learning
So-
things
Well, that's
right
like-
here on the
New
show.
things.
You're learning Jewish culture right here, ladies and gentlemen, on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Very nice.
So that was very fun. That was also in Detroit. Did not drink water because I was afraid of the Zika virus
Yeah.
Smart.
as well. I'm
Smart.
obviously very fearful of getting sick.
Wait. When you were out of town,
Yeah, look at
What-
it. Very busy.
how did I miss that you were in Detroit?
It was a turnaround. We left Friday morning and we got back Sunday evening. Yeah, it was
Hokey
really fast.
smokes! I
Yeah.
did not realize
Just
you
to
were
see Barry Manilow?
No,
that was in Tucson.
I know.
That was the week before.
So what were you doing in Detroit?
not drinking water and watching a bar mitzvah vote.
Yeah, exactly. Not drinking water.
Oh, that was nice of you to go up there.
Very, very nervous about all the mosquitoes.
Can you
really not that
clue
nervous.
us in a
I'm
little bit
fucking
as to
around.
how you got involved with going to a
And
Jewish
isn't it easier
celebration
to go to
in
a
Detroit?
local Jews party?
Yeah,
It is.
exactly.
But there weren't any local Jews.
Trying
that
to
would
work the
invite
mileage
me,
factor
so
on your-
I was
in your
like, you
rewards program?
sons
What
of
were you doing?
bitches.
I live in a part of
Hiram
Scottsdale.
called. Hiram
There
called,
are
and he wanted
hella
me to go.
Jews
Hiram.
by where I live. I'll get you some invites.
Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
we can get you
'Cause
invited to a party.
I'm real mad at all the Jews I grew up with because I grew up with a lot of Jewish people, and I
feel like
still
they're
have to
also
write
not
them a
in
very
Phoenix.
strongly worded letter. Why was that my first time in a synagogue? Which, by the way, very busy. You know how we do side talk here? Happens in synagogue all the time. Everyone kibitzing, just blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Oh, kibitzing.
Now
Kibitzing. Do you like
Now
that?
speaks a
I'm
language.
pulling it.
I like
all
how
out
you're
there.
throwing it all out there.
Yeah.
Are you going to reenact all of Yentl
I
before
almost
we're
brought
done?
my yarmulke. That's what I felt like. I said to.
She's
I said to
schwitzing
them,
like a
I'm
camel.
schwitzing. I said.
Did you think you were Linda Richmond at some point?
What are you, a
Talk
camel?
amongst yourselves. I mentioned that I felt like an extra in Yentl when we went to leave. It was a lot.
They're like, oh, the sacred movie of our people.
I
Correct.
was say, was that appreciated?
It was. Yeah. So we were in Ann Arbor. And
I would have made my gift to her singing every song from Yentl in order.
Some of the women oddly looked.
Some
a lot
call it a
like,
gift.
Barbara Streisand.
Others call it
They
future
were-
Oh.
restraining order.
Was there a lot of hair going on?
Well, there
Barbara
was a lot
Streisand
of
there?
different things. I don't know exactly what was happening with a lot of different. There were many different things happening. So it was
Okay.
a lot. Look at John Oliver has a yarmulke.
Oh, look at that.
That's very thoughtful.
Look at it, babe. Damn it. Anyway,
Yeah, but it's Tuesday. Does he need to be wearing that? I guess it depends on what kind of day.
if
it
we
is.
consider this our synagogue, he sure does. You always have to cover the top of your head.
Crap, now we're in church.
Look at it.
I gotta go.
Not in this
Look
house.
at John Oliver with the Leinenkugel's yarmulke.
There
That's
you go.
fantastic. Anyway, so it was a delight. It was very fun
bag
meeting
of popcorn is too
some
small.
different members of Aaron's family that I hadn't met before.
Oh,
and
this is an Aaron's side of the thing. I didn't catch that
Aaron's
part.
mom.
Got it. Okay.
Aaron's
Got it.
mom's side of the family.
I
So-
see her rambling on in the old chat room there, but I wasn't following her because your
Yeah.
story was more
But I'm not
interesting.
reading it.
You're right. Your story was more interesting than reading whatever the hell she's typing.
She is typing in there. Yeah.
I don't think I realized that Ernie was part Jew.
Yeah, she's
Oh, yeah.
Ish.
she's Jewish. Yeah, she's the
It's
she's
important.
the ish.
Her and William
Important to say the
Shatner.
whole word.
Yeah, Jewish.
I know we're like 8 minutes into the story,
Oh.
but you really should say Jewish.
It's not Jewish. Yeah. So yes,
No.
it
That's a
was a
scene
delight.
straight out of Community, in case
Yeah,
you've never
I've
seen it.
not ever
But she
seen
likes
it,
a good
no.
pastrami sandwich on marbled rye.
Which, by the way, we had.
Who does
And we stopped at the Zingermans and we had that.
The
yes.
Zingermans?
The Zingermans, yes, we had
Oh,
that.
the
It was-
Zingermans, that's
it was
so
a
good.
delight. Yes, we
I
had
feel
that.
like Sid Caesar's going to show up at some point and do a act in that deli.
I'm just going to
It was fantastic.
wipe the white cheddar off my shirt and hope no one notices.
Well, I practiced before we left.
A lot of that. Yeah, you can get Mucinex and clean that right up.
No, but you don't want to before you go to a Jewish
Okay.
thingy.
Yeah, I didn't save you any seconds. There's
No,
nothing
it's okay.
left. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Anyway, so
We're gonna
that
have
has
to order
been my
pizza.
week. It was lovely.
that was a filled week. I didn't realize you'd
well,
gone
because it's 2 weeks. you know,
airborne.
really.
Well, that's true. But I didn't realize that there was an airborne part of this going to Michigan. And I knew
It
about
was.
the Manilow part in Tucson.
Yeah, yeah. So that was That was a delight. I didn't put a whole lot on Facebook because I do have my dad's side of the family is from Ann Arbor.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I do,
Getcha.
mention I was
Totes getcha.
there.
Yeah.
So
Question though, flashing back to the Manilow.
Yes.
Now I understand that the tour is one last time or one final time or
I figure he's Cher.
some. Well, that's what I was curious.
Yeah.
Did he make any announcement during the concert that we're done or what?
No, that's what. Maybe we'll see again. Kind of a.
Because I don't know, as old, and again, I enjoy the
He
Manilow.
looked great. Like he was running around.
But
He's going to teach him how to say
I'm
goodbye.
not really sure how much longer he can go with as tight as that face is getting.
He actually looked better, and remarkably, I did realize. I'm good at the self-deprecating. I realized that he and I share the same hair. That when I took pictures, I have a couple of pictures.
Okay.
And when he was up on the screen,
Can we
I
see
went,
one?
Marnie
fuck.
has just revealed to the audience that
Same
she
spike
shares hair with Barry Manilow.
She's got a Fanalo
Apparently.
haircut. Is
I
what
have
she
the
has.
Fanalo haircut. Yes, I do. Apparently, I didn't know.
Okay, I didn't realize either.
He was up there, and I kind of went, "Fuck! If I superimposed my face,
Oh,
this is not good news."
okay. I don't know. Okay.
I mean, it's
Stand
not
by.
that it's a bad.
Did he do
hair,
Weekend
but-
in New England? That's
Oh,
all we
of
want to
course
know.
he sure did. And he always gets this fantastic smirk on his face when he's singing it, and the girls are going nuts, and everybody is having because he's always like
Because his husband's in the wings of the
exactly,
stage, right?
like come on, you know, it's
Doesn't
very
matter.
funny.
That one still stirs the
Oh,
loins.
absolutely. He's like,
Absolutely.
when can I touch you? And everybody goes nuts, and he's like, bitches.
What I find myself doing,
Not doing
from the
that.
live
I'm
album
not sure
that
I see it.
from
No, not there. Not
from
there.
the from the live album.
Not there. No.
Well, that's
you
just
don't know.
now you're just showing a ghost.
Yeah.
If
yeah.
you could just
Similar.
send me that picture. If you
Similar.
can Facebook that picture to me,
I know, but it was more fun to put
Okay.
it there.
John Oliver.
John
That's
Oliver
not
that
it.
picture.
This is the
Right.
ghost of Barry Manilow when he haunts you.
You can't even tell.
No, no,
He's
no.
a specter. We have the photo ready for Manilow's
Wait,
I'm just letting
let me
y'all
see if I
know.
can find one with more
Anyway.
contrast. I don't know.
obituary.
Oh, hang on. Oh,
Oh,
what's
it's going to
this?
be more scary. Now he
that
looks like Dracula.
Still can't tell.
Barry Manilow can't be
Is
photographed.
it? Is it?
Doesn't show up.
That's why
Is
it
it
was one last
Siegfried? Is it
tour.
Siegfried
He's a
or Roy?
vampire.
I'm not sure which one it is.
Oh, he does look kind of like
Whichever one
Siegfried.
has
Yes,
a
he
glow.
does.
Yeah, whichever one is glowing
Oh,
now.
freaky.
They've always glowed. What are you doing?
Is it this
Taking
one?
pictures of John Oliver.
Oh, okay.
Yarmulke.
Getting young.
And that's not. Don't take that dirty.
I'm taking
when she's
pictures
in-
of John Oliver.
That's not a metaphor for masturbation. That's literally what she's doing.
I didn't put the yarmulke on the beaver. I put it on John
yeah.
Oliver.
Oh, but can
Once
you-
you're done shaking hands with Mr.
yeah.
Lincoln, can you get a picture of John Oliver?
Can you put your yarmulke on the beaver?
Yeah,
I would like pictures of the beaver with the yarmulke, please.
God's chosen beaver.
I feel
well,
like
you know what?
Oh.
Actually, this does work because some of the little Jewish men look
Yeah,
like they
that-
had hats on. I'm not fucking lying.
that looks like
I was
Daniel.
what's happening?
Daniel Boone Beaver, not perhaps a smaller bottle.
Take
cap.
take a picture. It kind of looks like Rocky the Flying Squirrel with a hat on. So take that picture and then do me a favor.
Yeah.
Turn him around, take another picture, and then Facebook Messenger me that picture so I can show our audience what you're doing.
Looks like the beaver's about to star in a
He's got
broad
moose and squirrel over there.
performance of the
I don't want you to
Music
be.
Man.
I don't want you to be hard on the beaver over there.
No. Nope, petting the beaver.
Killing me.
Petting the beaver.
Gently stroke. Can I
Gently
hold the
stroking the
motherfucker for you?
Well, no, 'cause
I would
then
if you'd
it-
move
it-
that
it-
goddamn
yeah,
cat.
yeah.
You're gonna need a smaller boat
It's funny.
or a bigger beaver, dear.
Well, there we have it.
601.
601
Doesn't.
I don't mean to be critical of your artwork, but
I will not apologize for art.
that shit is not gonna sell.
I think it will.
I will not apologize for art.
I will not. Yeah.
Okay, Alfie.
God's tears, strawberry milkshake.
The old couple in room 274.
It's good stuff.
That must have been terrifying for the children. Thank God they were dead.
Be afraid.
God, it's just so fucking funny.
Well, I went to Colorado.
Yes.
You did.
Was this your therapeutic return trip from the last time you were in Colorado? Which
No, I
was,
have been prior. I was there last June for
Oh,
a wedding
oh,
in
the-
the southwestern suburbs of Denver, and this time I was in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And I have to say, with 3 visits, only 1 wreck, and
Your batting average is getting
yeah,
better.
it's getting better and better. But
2/3
it's
better.
absolutely beautiful
Oh,
state.
yeah.
And like, if for any reason you need to, get there, go, and like take some time and just wander around. There's just beautiful stuff everywhere. And down in Colorado Springs, at least, there's a weather system for your enjoyment in any direction.
Oh.
Like, and we did tons of stuff. I segued, so I called myself
you did?
Job for a whole day.
That's fantastic.
And we took the tour that you're supposed to be an experienced Segway person.
Okay.
But due to some kind of an internet glitch or people not communicating in English over the phone, we were on it.
Due
And
to liars.
Yeah, not one of us having ever ridden a Segway.
So how'd that go for you?
It went really well. But, like the first time you learn to ride a bike or the first time you're on, rollerblades.
A little wobbly, a little excited.
Right.
You're like, well, I hope it's a while before we see a hill. Well, no,
Up or-
Colorado, we started off at the top of a hill.
That's where the mountains are. Really,
Yeah.
a lot of those there.
So, but it was fun, and we got the hang of it, and they really are...
A good time?
It's really cool. Like, it's a cool way to get around. It goes they go up to 12 miles an hour. It's all very intuitive, and with your... Like, you just lean back with your feet, not with your whole body. And we went around a corner and down a steep hill, and I panicked a little. And I actually, while being like, I'm out of control, I started hugging the thing. I, abandoned the handles altogether that do everything and just hugged the Segway. Stayed standing, made it back, figured out what I was doing, got it stopped, and then, did a little show-offy move to get into the, we were like, let's look at this garbage can. The tour guide was trying to make it seem like we had stopped for a reason, but he just wanted to make sure I was
Right, not going to kill yourself?
yeah, not going to die.
Right.
And I was
very
like,
thoughtful
no,
of
I'm
him.
fine. And then I turned around and did a little spin on the Segway, and I'm like, did you like the way I hugged it?
So now they all know you're gay on the trip. Okay.
As if there was
I
question.
appreciate Don.
But they
As-
kept
as
asking me,
if.
are you going to come back and do this again? I'm like, really? It wasn't that bad. I figured it out. I mean, we embraced. I met my inner Segway, and we did good.
You met your inner Segway.
But they're really a lot of fun. And we did the cute little Manitou. We did the Garden of the Gods.
How did you-
Which is absolutely beautiful. And we did Seven Falls and the staircase and the elevators there and that park. And we did Manitou Springs. Saw the little artist community. Then we did the train that goes, the cog train that goes to the top of Pikes Peak. And they built it just to go to the top of Pikes Peak. Because I kept saying to Tim, there has to be a fucking reason for this. Was there mining up there?
No.
Why do they have this railway that goes up and down this mountain?
White people with nothing to do.
Right, and it really was. So about 3/4 of the way up, the guy is telling us stories because they cram all the information on your way up so that when you lose consciousness at that altitude, you just sleep for the way down and he doesn't interrupt you.
Perfect.
But he
nice.
said he's like someone's gonna ask me what is this for, and he's like someone went up to the top, thought it was beautiful, and then spent the next few years building a railroad just for this. And he's like, and we've been operating ever since. It's just to see the top of this beautiful mountain. And you go up high enough and you go past the timber line and you can see the curvature of the earth, and it's just
Oh, wow.
and-
That's cool.
Oh, I mean, you are
Nice.
really far up. And the views are spectacular. You get to the one place called Inspiration Point, and it's where the woman that wrote the poem that is America the Beautiful, that's where she wrote it. That was her view as she described
Wow.
the fruited plains and
The-
the purple mountains majesty. And it was clear enough that we could see Oklahoma and Nebraska. It was fucking nuts.
Wow.
Fucking nuts.
That is crazy.
And then shopping, it was just a lot of fun. Saw Tim and the husband JD and toured around the city. Ate bison, delicious.
Ew.
Oh, wow.
I've had that before. Not a fan. But that's just me.
It's just kind of it tastes like a turkey burger or any kind of that's not meat burger.
So I'm just going to have a turkey burger because I'm more familiar with the palatability.
Yeah, but I mean, there was
it's
no
too much. It's there's something. The bison I had, maybe it was bad.
Oh yeah, no, this just tasted like
It was
really,
that,
really,
Gordon
really, really
Biersch.
lean.
So my
Oh, this was a
problem.
place that only did bison, and they cut it
Yeah.
in the back, and they ground it in the back.
Okay.
Because now it's our national mammal. So how did I celebrate it? I ate one. Yeah, Obama just declared it the national mammal the other day.
Yes.
Oh.
Because now they're preserved in their back, and it's a really, 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 really lean hamburger. So really lean. That's the only real difference. Is you're missing that juiciness, that
All that delicious
deliciousness.
fats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're missing the fats.
Sad.
But so that was kind of cool. It was a very cool weekend. And well, I'll tell you, I wasn't going to, but I will. But I went into one of the shops. So Tim and I went, even though Tim no longer partakes in any way, but he was like, I want to see this too. 14 years old, driving to the projects in Niagara Falls to knock on some lady's door, riding our bikes or driving our parents' car. So to actually go to a store where they sell everything.
Yeah.
From oils and salves to waxes to
Sure.
gummy bears to chocolate bars to this is the stuff that makes you like awake and thinky. This is the stuff that makes you like fall into the couch. This is the hybrid. These are the things. You smell it like you're buying coffee or wine. Yeah. You smell all the containers. They have coffee beans to smell in between. And we just laughed through the, not because we were stoned, but we were, just could not stop laughing at like how civilized it was to go and like, you know, it's not some dirty fucking drug deal. It was like really like, and cool people that had like a lot of questions. There was one woman who was some kind of like naturopath that was like buying the, like something for her shoulder. They had
patches.
They
Chinese
had,
math.
Like, yeah, Chinese math. Six.
Stop hitting yourself, for God's sake.
1, 2, 3.
Why can't I think transdermal patches? They, like you would do with a pain medication, so you could put it on and have low doses of like. I didn't get that technical, but I was like, is it 12 hour? Is it 12 hour, 24 hours, 72 hours? They make those. So it was just really cool, like all the medicinal things that they had, but this was a recreational place. Oh, cool. So it was just, and it was just really fun to see. And then I'm like, they had cones, and I'm like, and we had just been through like the chocolate bar, gummy bears, Fruit Loops part, and then we get to cones, and I'm like, is it ice cream? And the guy's like, what? What's a cone?
No.
And he's like, it's a joint.
Oh.
And I was like, oh. And I'd only ever smoked little polite white girl joints, so I was not aware of like,
what's
like
the,
a big
fatty?
fucking blunt. Yeah. It really does look like a cone. So, but it was really, it was just really kind of fun to see it so civilized and like everybody talking about what the fuck they were doing and smelling stuff.
And
one of them, like we smelled like all these different things, and we smelled one, and I was like, oh, that's our childhood. And it was so funny because Tim smelled it and he's like, ooh, that's a flashback. Like it just, I don't know what the hell it was.
I always call that aroma association. If I smell something, I'm like, God, I'm like 4 years old again.
Yeah. This was kind of a grandma's kitchen. If
right,
grandma, yeah.
Right, you smell something.
If grandma dealt weed.
Takes you back.
Well, no, but I mean, like,
some grandmas do.
No, you don't know.
You smell
Don't
like
judge.
a laundry soap your grandma used or something else, whatever.
Yeah.
And like, or you get an old car that like your great grandparents had, and like you smell the interior of an old car.
Yeah.
It's like it's aroma association. Right. Now, I would never. I hadn't
like super
associated.
floral perfume.
Yeah, different things like
lilacs.
that.
With
So
grandmother.
explain to me, and obviously both of our listeners, how this works.
Thanks for being here.
We have 3.
No,
Thanks
one
for
of my
being
questions
here.
is,
3.
there's 10 users in the chat room right now. That's nice. So tell me how this works. Now, I was in a couple years ago.
They check your ID every 5 feet.
When I was in Denver a couple years ago installing the new system at Charlie's Denver, it was interesting, and it came up as a memory recently on the Facebooks. It was so interesting to just walk around the city and you just smell pot everywhere.
But the thing is you can't smoke pot outside.
No, but regardless, it was pretty much, at least in the section of town I was in, apparently every balcony had a
either that
license.
Or there literally was a skunk somewhere nearby because they are pretty prevalent.
So my question is, when you're
and you know I've mistaken that before. Like I was trying to turn in all of Magic Mountain in California. I'm like, you smell people smoke pot everywhere. He's like, those are actual skunks, you dumbass.
So when you're not a Colorado resident, obviously you have an Arizona ID. You're from here. You're visiting. How is it different, or is it? How do they treat you? And
how much you can buy?
Okay.
There's a limit to how much you can buy as an out of towner.
Okay.
And I didn't understand any of it. You know what I mean? Like.
Because it was math.
I never.
Because it was the metric system.
I made it up to like professional level, but it was like so many grams in the medicinal stuff, and then that led to like how many ounces you could buy. And I want to say like a Colorado resident could have bought an ounce, but out of state could only buy 7 grams or some shit. I don't know. It was all.
I'm just probably online. Kat's gonna look it up. But what's
it was all very confusing.
Is it like a day? Is it like a week? How often can you buy?
You can go in once a day.
Wow. Okay.
And there were two different shops. One was called like Emerald Fields, and that was the one that was like really, really nice. And just you go in, you have to show your ID. They check to make sure you haven't been there before that day.
Oh.
They take you into a waiting room, and they keep your ID, and then they call you in as like a group of however many people are standing out there. Like I think there was like 6 of us.
Okay.
And they bring you in and they just explain how it works. Like, here's your ID, keep it out. If you're gonna talk to the guy that like has the names of everything and can, your docent, if you will, he has an iPad and he can talk you through like what you can have or what you need for if you're here for medicinal purposes. So that was interesting. But he has to see your ID. And then, like, he can be your, like, Apple person that tells them what you want to buy, and then you just go to the counter and buy it.
Okay.
But you have to show them ID. But then they just went around, and, like, the food stuff, and then they had the like, olive oils. They had it as tea. They had it as, but, like, the cooking oil. So, like, all the people that are, like, turning their pot into butters and stuff like that to make brownies, they just have the oil. So you just measure it out like you would.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but I'm assuming you just measure it out like you would the recipe, or you would just use the recipe on the back that said, this shit's good on brownies, you know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm. But it seemed to be, like, already pre-distilled, which I was like, that takes a lot of fucking time. I mean, I made pot brownies, like, 25 years ago once, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot of work.
It takes forever. You got to boil it down, and then you got to put it in the thing, and then you got to let it rest.
Yeah, so they just sell you the oil, so I guess
you
you just substitute that in for, like, the butter part of a brownie or whatever. So, I mean, but it was really interesting. Oh. And then we went to the other place that was called Maggie's Farms or something, and it was the only two in, like, that part of Colorado, because Colorado Springs didn't legalize marijuana, so you have to go, like, out of town to these two. There's all kinds of medical, but the recreational was only in this other little town, so there was two places nearby each other. And the other one wasn't quite as fancy. You just walked up to it was like a head shop, but it was a big long counter. But then their, like, foods were arranged more nicely, and the medical part was, like, really cool. That's where we saw the transdermal patches and stuff like that. And, like, saw, like, how they dosed it out for people that just take the oils, like, for little kids that need, like, epileptics.
Like for seizures and stuff,
Yeah, for
right.
seizures and stuff. So you just and, like, seriously, spent, like, the longest time, and I had my Google out, like, Googling, like, dosage and stuff. It was just really interesting.
That's cool. The hard and fast rule for possession and purchasing is any adult 21 years or older is allowed to possess up to 1 ounce of marijuana in Colorado. Non-residents of Colorado will be restricted to purchasing 1/4 ounce in a single transaction.
Oh, 1/4 ounce. And then they give you that in grams. They tell you what that is in grams.
7
grams. So it was 7 grams. And it was, but it, and, you know, there was some ne'er-do-wells in there. Like I said, there were some people that were, like, the one lady was clearly she was taking up the docent's time, asking a lot of questions about massage oils. Mm-hmm. But she used it to, like, rub someone off. She used it to rub off.
That's why they call it a
And then
genius bar.
I had to look like the biggest fucking narc in the world, because I was asking everybody questions. Like, and what are you here for? You know what I mean? I was all excited.
Erin had, I don't know if you guys remember the bong water incident.
Oh,
where,
yeah,
her kids were drinking the bong water.
Oh, yeah.
Well, last week they were eating the pot leaves. Like, they were just eating.
A bud?
Yeah. They were just,
wow.
That's what they were calling eating the pot leaves.
It's not tasting very
I
good.
was laughing. These fucking kids.
I mean, that's a
7th
waste
grade.
of time. Then you got to get out and smoke their shit later, but...
Yep. They drank the bong water because they wanted to get high, and they were, I mean, seriously. I thought, well,
they're on the right track. At least they're not
They're
like
trying.
they're not taking grandma's prescription meds or.
Does that really
Well,
just
they're
say that your
probably
class
doing
isn't
that
as
too.
exciting as it should be? If they're in your they're in your class trying to get high because it's not as entertaining. I mean, up the antics in your
And
classroom.
if anybody's ever
I think it's more about the other people that are teaching.
Oh.
You know.
if anybody has ever accidentally had a taste of bong water, that is punishment enough.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, they were like,
okay.
they all were like passing it. Talk about, instead of puff pass, it was like, guzzle.
Yeah.
I don't want to remember a lot about the 80s, but that's one thing I could live
You
with.
can't forget. You
Yeah.
can't.
I
Right.
appreciate that because they're morons.
And you, what did you do, sir?
It was a typical week. I feel like I got a lot of things accomplished. One of my big recycle days was the other day where I loaded up. I have boxes, like I save up multiple weeks of electronic recyclables, and one of the things was a TV that was his that I didn't realize. And if around the world, I don't know what recycling is like, but in America, it is increasingly hard to find a place to get rid of older TVs, which are the CRT, the big glass tube TVs, not the flat screens. So Al had an older TV, and it literally every place, even the city of Phoenix, when I would call them, they would refer me to XYZ company and this company, either phone disconnected,
Yeah.
or they don't. Nobody. You're in a voicemail circle of hell. You can never get to a live person. So there's all these things that, or you call them and they're like, yeah, we quit accepting those like 3 years ago. So finally I found a place over in Tempe that is like, yeah, we're one of the few people left. So I took the TV over there, and what they do is if you have a 35-inch TV, it costs you $35 to recycle it. If it's a 20-inch TV, they charge $1 an inch by the screen size. And you don't. I broke down the television because I had taken all the plastic off and the circuit boards and done all that. But it's just that actual cathode ray tube, the CRT, that really is the issue. But it's really dwindling down as to how many people they're left, because people more and more are they've already gotten rid of them. They've already, unfortunately, like I agree with you, probably there are in landfills, which I wish they weren't. But it used to be one of the places people would get rid of them was they'd just go drop the goddamn things off at like Goodwill. Right. Well, as I mentioned like a week or so ago, there's a big
Goodwill
sign.
has stopped accepting TVs.
May 1st, 2016, we no longer accept your old style television. But
because even poor people won't buy them. It's the problem.
Right. So anyway, the nice thing is and somebody made a comment on my Facebook after I posted that I was there. Well, if you just drop them off at their back door, will they still do it? Probably so. However, asshole, why would you be a dick like that? Just pay the money. It costs everybody a little bit to help save this fucking planet. Yeah. So because something you bought has to be...
will not be easy.
Now we found out that we can't just throw this in the recycle bin, and now it has to be recycled in a different manner. Don't be a douche about it. Pay your couple of bucks, get rid of it, do it properly. I just think it's a nice way to do it. But I got rid of a bunch of recycle things. There was a Goodwill clothes run, all yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, the crown jewel of the entire weekend was, and I assume Mom hasn't passed out from, or is asleep already. The Mother's Day was lovely because I had been planning this Mother's Day surprise for quite some time. And it's one of those things where all of the planets aligned. It all came together. Everything worked out. For those of you that are friends of mine on Facebook, I posted a picture of a very large box. It's difficult to wrap and make pretty, and took that up there with me. Picked her up about noon on Sunday. Went to lunch. Went to see Jason Carlton at his pool bar downtown that he manages at the hotel. And then Mom wanted to see Stacy Lewis at Stacy's, so we stopped by there and they talked. So then got back to Mom's place because I had it planned I said I want to be there around 5 because I wanted daylight, and she knew we had a project because that was what the box was about. And Jason Carlton had convinced her that it was a train set
to put around the pool.
I don't know, somewhere. Right,
sure.
Adorable.
So she opened the box, was really really surprised, which I was thrilled. Because she had purchased a long time ago. It's one of those things where I wasn't with her at this purchase. She went to some pool supply place here in town. And they sold her what was at the time, the latest, the greatest, and the best, and it never fucking worked ever. And then they wanted to charge her some ridiculous restock fee. She wound up just throwing it away. She's like, "Fuck you! I'm just gonna throw it away myself." Yeah. So I got her the pool vac that I knew worked. Good. So literally, it's like 4 minutes from the box. Put the hoses together, sunk it in the water. She flipped on the pump, and it just went.
Oh, I love it.
Just took off.
The one that looks like the little squid?
No. That was the bad one.
That was the bad one. I was going to say, this is
this is the Hayward Classic pool vac that's been tried and true for so many years.
Okay.
We backwashed twice after we put it in because it had sucked up so much shit. Right. But she sent me pictures today, and it's looking much better, and she's ready. But I love the fact that she runs the pool pump every night anyway, so it should be vacuuming every night anyway.
Yeah.
So it's less work that she has to do to it. She can enjoy her pool more once it gets above 80 whatever degrees.
And she may be different. Some people like the cooler water.
Right. No, so she's looking forward to getting better. So I was really thrilled with that. And then right before I left, I said, "You know what the best part is? Still a vacuum."
Yeah.
I did actually. Such a good point.
I did actually miss that irony.
Yeah, that is a very
coincidence.
I missed that as well. That's fantastic.
So it all got done. It was a good weekend. Things are all up and up. It's still, we haven't got to hot weather yet in Phoenix, and I'm still thrilled. It's beautiful.
Oh, I know.
My God, the nights, the evenings are
even
so
the nights
stunning.
are better.
Sunday, even the nights are better.
Yeah. And as I travel, the more I travel, the more I'm like, I got to get back to Arizona because you people's weather sucks.
Terrible.
I mean, it's fun to watch a blizzard go on a mountain that you can watch, but I'm like, no, I need to go.
There you go.
Right.
Before we go to break, right quick, I want to show you Marnie did. This is her John Oliver with a little yarmulke on it right there. And then for those of you wanting to know what Marnie's beaver looks like with its little yarmulke, it's right there.
Look at that. The summer shanty
It looks like a beaver about to start a performance of the Music Man.
76 trombones in the big parade. The sound of the cornets close at hand. There's 100
There's
something
some
I can't remember.
beavers whipping a world around. I don't know.
It's fantastic. It's good
I
stuff.
got lost.
Wow.
All right, we got a lot going on.
Lyrics are not your specialty, Fred.
We got a lot going on. It's the show on Q Talk America. We'll be right back. Al's going to give us a drinking word in just moments right here on Q Talk America.
You're listening to Q Talk America.
Where you want to go now, dummy?
I was kind of thinking going to the club.
You mean back home for some crying, sitting in your boxer shorts, playing Call of Duty, eating Cheetos, falling asleep with your fingers stained orange?
30 seconds of jelly jiggling fun. This is your 30-second dance break.
This is the Q Talk America Radio Network.
And now, a drink-along. We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
I love that this is the first time that Al's ever watched the disclaimer.
No, I thought there was an actual picture there. Not everything is about ghosts tonight. Like that was the ghosts of people that used to star in our commercial. Well, we have to make it nudity, right?
Nudity. Why nudity? What happened?
So, Al, would you like to give us a drinking word?
That was it. Nudity.
That was it.
Nudity.
That's
I'm
why
sorry.
I said why. I like it, but
Well,
why?
partial nudity is all we're offering.
Yes. Otherwise,
right
we get dinged on that.
Well, we have an explicit
I'm a stripper.
rating. Oh.
Wow.
Nudity.
All right. Ryer, you think you're ready for this?
You know.
We'll figure it out. Here we go.
Yeah.
All right, headlines coming at you on this Tuesday night. It's May 10th, 2016, show number 261, and here we go. Oh, courteous man arrested again.
Shout it out loud, douchebag.
Dude, that's not my car.
Have you ever woken up so drunk that you had sanctions?
Look where I am.
Christian bigot, Kirk Cameron.
And divine restraining order.
Boy sells lemonade because he wants to be adopted.
And also unlocking your phone with the tip. And I mean, just the tip.
Yeah.
These and other stories coming up right now. Just the tip. My God. Okay. Well, a Natick, Massachusetts man was apparently nice to the wrong person, and as a result of his polite gesture, he'll be sitting in jail for a month, according to the Metro West Daily News. A man by the name of Kayvon Mavadat, who is 28 years old, went to the Natick Mall on Friday, and he stopped to hold the door open for an officer who was leaving the mall. Unfortunately for him, the officer recognized him as someone that had 3 warrants and then arrested him. Police spokesman Lieutenant Kara Rossi said on Monday the officer turned around to thank him and recognized him immediately. He asked if his name was Kayvon, and he said, no, it's Kevin. The officer went to his cruiser, looked up Mavadat on his computer and recognized Kevin as Kayvon, and went back, found him, and arrested him. Mavadat of 4 Millbrook Road, why they give out their address, I don't know, had a Framingham District Court warrant that charged him with driving on a suspended license and a signal violation, police said. According to the police, Mavadat also had 2 Natick District Court warrants. One charged him with possession of heroin, and the second charged him with shoplifting, police said. Once Mavadat was in court, his plight worsened. On Monday, Mavadat's probation officer, David DiGiorgio, asked Judge Martine Carroll to hold Mavadat without bail, pending a probation surrender hearing. He said Mavadat had not appeared in court for months, has skipped on all of his court-ordered drug tests, and has not paid any of his probation fees. Said Mavadat has a history of not completing probation. Mavadat's lawyer, Kristen Wheeler, argued for her client's release, saying the difference here is that he just started a job, so he has money and he can start paying the money back that he owes. He can pay $200 tomorrow, she said. Mavadat told the judge he would be fired from his job if he was held. Carroll ordered Mavadat held without bail until a probation surrender hearing on June 9th. After being ordered held, Mavinet could be heard yelling from a holding area in the basement of the courthouse.
Mavinet. I want to make that the drinking word.
All right.
And look at it. Now look at this mugshot. Now he's 20. What was it?
Oh, that's a hard
29.
Anything under 60, and that's not healthy.
Yeah. The story says that he's 28 years old.
Ouch.
And that's the mugshot from when he got.
1983.
I'm thinking 26 of those years were hard living.
Yeah. Heroin doesn't do you a lot of favors. Like,
That one.
Wait, how are we spelling this? I want to say it right. How are we spelling this?
I think it's.
Oh, his last name?
Yeah.
Hang on. Kavon, Kavon, and the last name is Mavadat.
All right. Mavinet.
Oh, but depending. No, there's two spellings in the word in the story. There's Mavadat or there's Mavaddat.
Mavinet.
Kavon Manavinet.
Is your name Kevin? No, it's Kavon.
Kavon.
What's your name? Spatula? Yes. Listen, Limon Jello and Orangelo.
Lamangelo and Orangelo.
Yes.
Twins.
So one of the guys that was responsible for Shout It Out Loud is a douchebag.
Shout it out loud.
That would be Gene Simmons.
Oh.
So Gene Simmons decided to be a big blowhard about Prince and his death. The Kiss frontman said some very stupid thing about hip-hop's place in the Rock and Roll Music Hall of Fame, and he shared his opinion of Prince's pathetic death. Bowie was the most tragic of all because it was a real sickness, he says.
Oh,
all the other ones were a choice. Drugs killed Prince. What do you think? He died from a cold? I think Prince was heads, hands, and feet above all the rest of them. I thought he left Michael Jackson in the dust. Prince was way beyond that. But how pathetic that he killed himself. Don't kid yourself. That's what he did. Slowly, I'll grant you, but that's what drugs and alcohol is. A slow death. So he has since recanted a bit. I just got shit from my family for my big mouth again. I have a long history of getting very angry about what drugs do to the family and friends of the addict.
I was going to say, I think he's coming from the right place, maybe not worded in the most artful way.
Right.
But I mean, I get what he's saying. He probably knows a couple people that he's
in
lost
his life, he's lost a lot of crew members, other band
Absolutely.
people who probably have.
I mean, it is Kiss.
Right.
They were high enough to paint themselves up like cats.
Like cats. Meow.
Memory.
That takes a lot of cough syrup.
That does. And confidence.
You're 2 bottles in before you call yourself Starman and sing on stage.
He
It's a fine bunch of Jews, though.
Yes,
John
indeed.
Oliver. I have
they're
a
all
long
Jewish.
history, he says, of
Nobody wants to be
getting
Peter
very
Criss, though.
angry. He gets very angry at drug users because of his own experience being around them coming up in the rock scene, like you pointed out. Yeah, he made his initial comments during this Newsweek interview, and it really wasn't put very well. In his apology, Simmons explained that the culture he grew up in cast off addicts as losers, and he admitted it was difficult for him to change with the times. That,
but I mean,
So
I think
him-
like. If you're being honest, you're not going to be like, oh, I love my friends that committed suicide. You know what I mean? You're going to be like, that's a waste of a fucking life. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
But you don't always express it like that, and maybe not
Right.
the wrong
You need to
time.
finesse it up a little bit.
But even
to be
while you were
unfortunate.
reading it, and you gave it a little bit of a harsh tone, I still got the like, oh, he's on the right track. Like,
No. He said he didn't express himself
perhaps if
properly
you did that with
here.
a guitar and a
I say
folk
finesse
song.
isn't really something I expect of him.
Of Gene Simmons.
He says,
So-
I don't shy away
I
from
feel like-
Now that
controversy.
tongue.
And angry critics don't really bother me at all. If I think I'm right, I'll throw up a finger and dig my heels in and laugh. But this time I was not, so my apologies. He added a quick postscript in which he cast some blame on media outlets for, quote, mining things he's said in the past and applying it to new situations. While he admitted this didn't make his previous statements any more tactful, he closed with the warning, be wary of clickbait. The uglier they can make it seem, the more views they'll get.
Yep.
And we could have just done it too, like made it Gene Simmons says horrible things about Prince when actually he said he was a great artist and heads and feet above the rest.
Did,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
And the one thing is though, the results from the late musician's toxicology test are still toxicology, excuse me, they're still pending. So it's not that it wasn't in his system, it wasn't anything else. But the investigation is into his death is focused on his supposed addiction to painkillers stemming from chronic hip pain.
And it's just something that we just have to, as a nation, as a world, get on top of this.
There's
we talked about with the pain
medication.
Oddly, if I'm not mistaken, I heard on either MSNBC or CNN today, I just heard the commercial in the background. I think it's called Made in America is a new documentary, and it's all about the prescription drug epidemic in America, because we are the pinnacle of prescription drug addiction in the world.
Sure. If only someone had started a GoFundMe for Princess
Maybe had $155. Like
we've talked about. We've talked about the fact that with Mom in behavioral health, people come in constantly.
Clarify that she's not in behavior. She
as a nurse.
Thank you. Your mom doesn't need help. She helps others. Well, okay, whatever.
Okay, but people will come in and be pill seeking. Right? They want to come in and
what's wrong? I just need a medication. I just need a medication.
Well, or they know exactly what to say, the key words in order to get.
There's a YouTube video that you can watch, and it's like,
hi, Annette.
It's ER. It's like the cartoon character goes into the ER, and she's clearly looking for painkillers, but she's like, I'm allergic to. She's like, oh my God, I'm having a seizure. No, you're not. You're dancing. No, I'm having a seizure.
Oh.
I'll give you Ativan. No, I'm allergic to Ativan. I'm allergic to this. I'm allergic to the direction east. I've had a drug before. It's called diluted. Yes, I need Dilaudid. That doesn't help with seizures. Can you help me with my seizure? Like, I mean, it's
wow.
But you have to see these cartoons.
And it's in this weird robotic voice. No, I've seen this before.
And it's a little cartoon like.
Oh, I do remember those. Absolutely.
But they have them from all the different services. But when it comes like the ICU service,
I've seen those horrible animation things.
But it's the ER one is so funny with I'm having a seizure.
Yes.
No, you're not. You're doing a dance.
Yeah,
I have seen that.
Well, and I have often asked, like, why can't there be like a database for pill seekers? And it goes against people's rights.
HIPAA.
Because of HIPAA, which to a degree I can understand. To a degree.
Listen, if we can't register gun owners, settle down.
No, but what I'm getting at is we're talking about all these deaths. We're talking about, and someone will go from
doctor to doctor
from doctor and doctor shop and ER shop, and there's no
even
reason
Rush
that
Limbaugh.
And you know if a patient,
there's no reason that should be a HIPAA violation to simply have something in there.
Yeah, but then you're just waiting to burn somebody. You don't know, like.
2 weeks ago, they just got a prescription for 60 Percocet.
Right, but at the same time, like that's that. But then it gets
I have an issue with that.
You get into gray area so fast
really
without even thinking about it.
And there's no infrastructure in place to help them. Like, now you've put them out.
So now you're going to make somebody go through withdrawals.
Or who are they selling it to? Your kids?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that's the problem. People are selling this stuff. It's not just using it, it's selling it.
We have to be really careful with this because high-ranking, respected people like Rush Limbaugh did a lot of doctor shopping and got busted for all of his bullshit.
After
totally being
so
sarcastic.
compassionate to drug users previously in his political life.
His above
find out
reproach.
He was a sufferer too. It just showed his true heart and fucker's fat ass compassion.
I respectfully agree to disagree.
Okay.
With what?
With the idea that there should be some kind of.
I'm just. It sounds like a great idea. It's just like everything else. Like, but all of a sudden we're in a really weird place, and you're punishing somebody who's just doesn't have insurance and is going to the next place. I don't know. But we do have to deal with the problem, not the punish the people at the end of the problem.
I'm not talking about punishing. I'm talking about dealing with, like, working through something to find a way. Yeah. To make sure that people are.
Well, there was a friend of mine.
Counseling.
There was a friend of mine who lived.
But we're only willing to pay them like $8 an hour, so they're not going to be educated anyway, and probably just have the drug problem in our.
Yeah.
There was
what I mean? Like
a friend of mine
who loop.
Who lived
when
here.
When are we breaking into this shit?
There was a friend that used to live here whose doctor was based here, and for something to do with the prescription and state lines, it was an act of Congress to get a doctor in another state and go through all of it again. So he just would come back, visit the doctor here, fly back to the other state, and prescriptions were all done out of here. Mm-hmm. Well, I would go pick them up because it was completely fine for me to go pick them up. He would get them issued, then I would mail them to him. Anyway, it was interesting because a couple of the things that he was on, I don't know what the fuck they were, but they were all regulated. They would lose their mind. Like if you came in, like tomorrow was the day to fill it, and you came in at 5:30 the day before.
Yeah.
Oh God, they'd lose their mind. Oh, we can't even enter the order for this.
We can't even think about it.
We can't. No, it has to be past 6 a.m. tomorrow or whatever the hell it was. Right. It was interesting. So to that, I realized that that's a different type of database altogether. But still, they were very strict about you can't have another 30-day supply of this until tomorrow morning.
Sure.
But anyway, blah 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 blah.
And we're going to talk about it more and more. The more you read about the heroin thing going on right now all over America is just terrifying because it's cheap. Heroin is now cheaper than hillbilly, you know what I mean? OxyContin.
Oh.
Because they used to call OxyContin hillbilly heroin because you could get OxyContin cheaper than heroin. So people were breaking into pharmacies all over the country. That's why they have those signs that say we don't stock OxyContin or the OxyContin isn't a lock. Right. You know what I mean? Just so don't break this glass. There's a lot more. You got a lot more things.
Right. You got to think this through a little bit farther.
Yeah, this video game's got a couple more levels.
You're going to have to
Ocean's
Ocean's 11 this to get in.
Right. Ooh.
That's good. What?
Nude. I had to get a drink out of that. To use the verb to Ocean's 11 someone.
I'm sure I would understand that if I had ever seen the movie. I have breaking news.
It's my birthday. Pretend you've seen it.
In the entertainment section, I have breaking news coming
good,
up.
because I have nothing in.
Well, it's not a lot. It's just a little bit. I just want to let you know I have some. I shared it with her earlier.
So now tables have turned.
You teased it to me.
I teased it to you. You're right.
Heroin is cheaper, so no one's going to get grandma's pills anymore because grandma's probably dead because she didn't let her have her pain pills. And now they're getting heroin, and now like the HIV thing is going on control. I can't talk about it. I think I've talked about like 5 weeks in a row now, but find out, like read up on this. It's an epidemic in America, and it's craziness.
Well, I've heard reports over the past year or so. It always seems like some little small town all of a sudden is just taken over by heroin.
But it's like every small town. Like they thought it was just Vermont or Connecticut, but now it's
all
like,
over.
It's everywhere, and it's spreading like wildfire. And I mean, are there poppy fields somewhere? I feel like heroin is hard to come by. I again, clean white woman. I don't really know.
Dear Google, how do you make?
I feel like it's a two-step process.
Could be.
I can't even spell it. There it is. How heroin is made. I'm going to find out.
Good.
And then the FBI is going to come give me
right.
Yeah.
They're just going to come visit me because they're going to think it was Googled from this IP address.
But right, it's an opioid. Well, it's from poppies, right? Because the whole point. We'll just musical theater this to death inside baseball. We'll call this entertainment. But the whole reason for that section about the poppies in The Wiz is about heroin addiction. I think we talked about this when we watched it. And the dangers of heroin addiction in the black community. And that's why in The Wiz, like the heroin comes out as a dancer to seduce the lion, and he fights it and says no. Like he's brave and he stands up to the poppies, which, right? Don't poppies make heroin?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So that's like a really, really twisted metaphor for the seductiveness of heroin built back in the 70s in that community. And I'm sure if we had any kind of an audience, there'd be 20 pages of why Obama's the worst person on earth based on those comments.
Hashtag thanks, Obama. Yeah. Okay, now my first question is, because the very first thing that came up has like a full rundown of how with pictures, but it's out of Africa. Well, because...
Yeah, all right. No, so the NSA's listening, so I guess they'll be here in a minute.
Step-by-step pictures. No, but the pictures and the process that they're describing here is coming out of Afghanistan. So my first question is...
Oh, poppy
is it domestic heroin that's so cheap?
Right, that's because the
Question number one, where are we making the heroin that's so cheap? Do you know?
No, that was my... Remember, just rewind a little bit. That was my question number one. Because heroin used to be expensive... And when we went to war with Afghanistan, their main export used to be poppies for heroin, right?
Oh,
yeah, that was Afghanistan's main claim to fame.
They were flowers of mass destruction.
Dear Google, where does America's heroin come from?
Yeah.
Ooh, WhiteHouse.gov.
Oh,
but it is an interesting question: is who's growing poppies, and do they grow anywhere outside of the MGM set where Judy Garland took a kind
Historically,
stroll?
most of the world's illicit opium for heroin has been grown in the Golden Triangle of Southeast Asia. However, over the last decade, opium production has declined in that area. During the 1900s, Latin America evolved as the primary supplier of heroin to the United States.
All right, so it's changed.
Mexican heroin.
So, I mean, it's just changed from, like, pot, cocaine to now it's heroin. I mean, it's kind of funny to watch the progression of that, like, if you're at a grocery store buying pot in not Seattle, but Washington, Oregon, and Colorado, then growing it in South America, and what's that going to do you?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's cocaine, and like the cocaine kind of went out with the 80s and Phil Collins.
That's the big argument for decriminalizing. Like if we stop prosecuting everyone, if we like take away the black market and bring everybody into the light with it,
then do you end
then
this?
we take some of this criminal factor out of it, then we
I mean, it makes for a very interesting argument about heroin on that tack, because it obviously you have to create the demand is there. If we don't get rid of the demand, there's always going to be supply. Somebody's going to be like, well, nobody's buying that kind of donut anymore. Let's throw bacon on this shit.
Ooh, bacon.
Exactly. See what I mean?
So bacon.
That's exactly what they're saying in that little town in Indiana, except for they screamed heroin.
Right. Except for cocaine got too expensive, so heroin's now the thing.
Yeah.
Bacon. That's
and it's
also
not 1980s.
And honestly, again, clean white woman here, reporting from the field.
The poppy field, as it were.
Once Phil Collins stopped doing anything, didn't cocaine
Dorothy.
go away? Didn't they end at the same time?
When they canceled Miami Vice, I think pretty much.
Sometime around the Tarzan movie, cocaine and Phil Collins went away.
Could have been.
Yeah, sounds
Could have
better.
been.
I'm asking for a friend.
Of course you are. Of course. Yes, edibles not included. Continuing
It
on.
looks like a leaf.
We got a lot of mileage out of something that was not that.
It wasn't even the real story, but we got there.
And it's not even the Gene Simmons I like more. She's an actress and she's kind of dead.
Very different person.
She was in Guys and Dolls.
Moving
If she were a
on.
bell, would she be ringing?
A South Brunswick man who police said had sought revenge against the man dating his ex-girlfriend went to the wrong house and caused $10,000 in damage to vehicles in that person's driveway. His name is Ajinka Kelkar. He's 20 years old of South Brunswick, believed that a vehicle in the driveway of a home on Friendship Road, quote, belonged to a person who was dating his former girlfriend, police said in a statement. However, it turned out it was not his intended target. Now, here's the young man. And
I have a diagram of that story.
he was a decent-looking kid, 20 years old. So at about 1:15 a.m., a family member...
I enjoy relations with either one of those two gentlemen.
Well, it's the same guy.
Are they the same?
That's the same guy.
No.
This is like a Facebook picture,
Well,
and then that's his
if he takes
mugshot.
off his arm, I might not know it's him.
There's that. There's that. About 1:15 a.m., a family member of the home heard a hissing air noise outside, and the family member went outside and saw slashed tires on a Ford pickup. Well, the parents woke up, the mother-in-law, and then saw that her Suburban had its tires slashed as well. The family then saw their Jeep Wrangler had obscenities scratched into the door and fenders, as well as the tires slashed, and the roof had been slashed. Police said friends who had been sleeping over also had their vehicles' tires slashed as well. This guy
Medevac, was he in this story?
The fourth and fifth vehicles damaged were a Dodge truck and a Chevy pickup. Home surveillance footage allegedly shows Kelkar walking around the property with a knife and committing all of the damage. Officers went to Kelkar's home and took him into custody about 6:30 in the morning that next morning. They also seized the rental pickup truck he allegedly used during the crime. He was charged with trespassing, third-degree criminal mischief.
Oh, yeah. Third degree.
Third degree.
There's degrees of it?
He was also charged with being an unlicensed driver. He was released after posting a $10,000 bail. What is that diagram of?
Your story.
Oh, fuck you, whore. Got it.
There's the pickup truck, the flattened tires,
Got it.
the graffiti, and it was 1:15 a.m.
Okay, good.
And the exact time.
That's
now,
nice.
based
I
on
like
this
that.
video, how can he deny he did it? Medevac. What's his name?
Manavana.
Banana.
Medevac.
Banana. Dun, 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 dun. Banana.
Good night, Marnie. Good night, Ernie.
That was a lot of fun. You know what? I gotta start.
I was hoping
Like-
somebody was diagramming that story because it got very confusing. And then he was two different people when picture was shown.
I gotta start illustrating more stories.
You did. Actually, you will now be the court
The court illustrator.
illustrator.
I enjoy that. Cat Carlson, court illustrator. That sounds like a new sitcom.
Yeah.
Cat Carlson, court illustrator.
Court illustrator.
So, have you ever gotten so drunk that you woke up with sanctions?
Twice.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie.
Can you define
I feel
sanctions?
like I was with you one of
When
those
I
times.
when I dress up
possible.
as China, I'm always getting sanctioned.
Yeah, that's phenomenal.
Navadat.
Oh, good. Amina's gonna keep us honest there.
So Laura Hall is the patron saint of drunken consequences. Laura Hall
I
is
was always wondering who that saint was.
Laura Hall is the first human being to be banned from drinking in an entire county.
I like
Way
her
to
style.
go.
Yeah.
I got a couple of names for that list for Maricopa County.
So right.
True
Not
story.
going to say that government.
Maricopa.
So the writer of this once got 86 from a bar for dry humping a jukebox.
Okay, follow-up question.
It
What
was
song?
playing Journey's Separate Ways.
There it is.
In their defense. But
Judge's rule. I'm
Yeah.
going to let her hump it.
Oh, yeah.
If it was faithfully...
different.
It could have been a wet hump.
Right. That's true.
I would have let
That's
her
what it takes
finish.
to get a
Well,
single
sure, they're
building.
faithful, yeah.
Open arms.
Dry humping the jukebox is what it takes to get a single building to refuse you.
But it's only for like a
to
week.
serve alcohol.
And they take Journey
Is
off
that
the
like
jukebox.
forever?
It's like
Laura,
detente.
yeah, 86.
Faithfully.
Laura Hall did something so outrageous that an
I'm gonna go in the bathroom
entire
with my
county
laptop.
already, right.
put her picture up on a wall with the line "Do not serve."
They built a wall
underlined
around this
6
county just
times,
for her?
And the story
Mexico pay for
impossibly
it?
gets better from here because that county was England. Nobody is drunker than England, except places that are kind of England anyway, like Wales, where Laura Hall is also banned from drinking.
Can we go
That's
to
right.
Ireland?
Not one, but 2 countries are so frightened.
She's almost banned from the... Now she's got to travel to like Scotland and get the entire United Kingdom
Right.
on her side.
Right now, it's just a mission.
Yeah.
I feel I've been challenged.
So
I feel
they're,
like I've
they're,
been
they're so
challenged.
frightened of what Laura Hall does with a few in her that they have instituted nationwide bans that keep her from consuming alcohol within their
Wow.
borders. And getting hilariously, criminally drunk is all Wales
Is
does.
she free on Tuesdays? Have we
Well-
called her?
Could be.
Wales is Europe's Florida. The words
Europe's Florida.
on the national crest of Wales are "fuck you, I can drive." Their entire language looks like a drunken email to your ex. Their national anthem is the slurred words of Chumbawamba's thump thumping. And fucking Wales thought Hall
That's
was so out of
fantastic.
control that they had to adopt a liquor fatwa.
The slurred lyrics to Chumbawamba's tub thumping.
The
That's a
judges-
beautifully written sentence.
The judge who sentenced Hall
Our national language is screaming.
said she, quote, represented all that is despicable and rotten in society, unquote.
Oh, she dry humped a jukebox. I feel
Not
like we're
her,
going
this
too
was someone
far.
else. The judge further elaborated that it must be a frightening sight to see you in full sail, he called it.
In full
sail.
Holy shit, I'm pretty
All
sure
her
that's
regalia.
Check this. I'm in full sail.
Holy shit, I'm pretty sure that's what grizzled old pirates timidly whisper to each other when you bring up the Flying Dutchman. And that quote was from a judge.
I did that once.
A
It
man
hurt.
who does nothing but listen to crime reports all day. So what exactly did Lauren Hall do to earn her international 86ing? I don't know. Various news stories mention a few different charges: drunk in public, assault, trespassing, but nothing that hints at what
That's just dating.
earned right, her the wrath of 2 entire countries in a sentence that sounds like a zealous priest's condemnation of the devil. But I'm actually fine with that. See, Laura Hall is like a horror movie. Right now she's the unseen monster, leaving our imaginations to fill in the blanks. Finding out her actual crime would likely just disappoint. But really, though, it has to involve at least some light treason, right?
Yeah. I mean, don't you at least have to have like the queen's panties?
Something. I don't know, but apparently
Criminal
it doesn't-
mischief.
Yeah.
Maybe in the third degree.
Oh.
In the 3rd degree, it just does not. It doesn't know.
And
Very
I always
funny
say,
thing.
when Ireland caves, we all
I
cave.
hear.
Because when, the whole no smoking thing was only in California, like, well, it's California. You know what I mean? Settle down. It's California.
Mm-hmm.
We're not all going to stop smoking. California does a lot of weird shit.
Right.
And then Ireland stopped smoking. You're like, all right, give up the cigarettes.
Right, put them out.
They got Ireland's
now.
on board. If you can get the Irish to stop smoking, well, then you've really reined in the rats. You are St. Patrick.
You've reined in the rats.
But then it was the same thing with gay marriage. Like, it was going around, and, California did it, Canada did it,
Right.
Holland did it. You're like, these aren't real places.
Iowa did
And
it.
then all of a sudden, Ireland legalizes gay marriage. You're like, well, fuck, now, but we're done. So that's the new litmus test. As soon as Ireland does something,
We're good.
When
That's right.
Ireland stops, like, burning peat or moss or whatever the fuck they do to the environment, then we'll know.
Or fracking.
Do they frack?
I don't know. If they do,
But they're always doing those
stop.
peat ovens or, you know what I mean? They just burn, like, I don't know, chips of whatever fuck peat is. Amavad, Madavat.
The cow dung.
What the fuck is you? What are you talking about?
Funny, your friend Laura, what is her name? Laura Hall?
Uh-huh.
Wasn't she the band leader on
It's Hall & Oates.
No.
Wife.
I thought she was the band director on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Oates does all the singing anyway.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Hall does all the singing.
I don't know.
It's a beautiful voice.
I'm like, what the hell?
I knew Hall & Oates.
I know one of them does all the singing, and one of them not.
Hall does. Oates is harmony.
I don't know.
I don't know. The porn star.
Anyway, so Laura Hall, perhaps may or may not be related.
Maybe.
To Hall and Oates.
Maybe.
Had a documentary made about when she quit drinking.
Oh, she did quit. Did Ireland have anything to do with this?
Liquor
That's just as soon as Ireland banned her, she's like, well, I'm done. Ireland has called me a drunk.
Wales is your
Apparently I have a problem.
Her documentary was called My Battle with Booze, aired on the BBC. Damn. It shows the tough rehab regime she had to go through before she was allowed to go home after 5 months of treatment.
Wow.
Yeah, she says rehab has turned her life around.
Oh, I saw
Turn around,
Sandra
Bright
Bullock
Eyes.
starred in that movie. I saw it. Every now and then.
Get a
little lonely.
Well, isn't that something? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently, she may.
We had a follow up to that same story.
Investigative reporting right
That's
here
right.
on Q Talk America.
I like it.
But now she's sober, so now we can't fly to England and meet her and try to get kicked out of every bar in the United
And may or may
Kingdom.
And she won't be any
had a
fun if we
baby.
get her on this show. She won't be any fun at
No,
all.
I
No,
know.
no fun at all.
Jesus, we had one finger in her. She pulled away.
Wow, it was chilly.
I
started off
with
with two or
Cold
three
finger.
big Alka Pops and then maybe a
all
bit
10
of cider.
fingers right here.
I'll show me your
Then
hands.
it was
I didn't do
Stella
any
and
of it.
vodka and anything,
None of
really. A good few times I ended up in the hospital, but it didn't bother me. I carried on. All right.
Oh, and Indonesia
Drinker.
came
She's
up
a
in
drinker.
conversation the
Yes.
other day about, the babies smoke. Everybody's smoking.
Her weekly intake topped 150 units, so we'll say like
The liquor
legal
fatwa.
drinks.
150.
Right.
When she was 17, she jumped off the
150
roof of a
guys
four-story
alive.
car park.
She jumped off a roof?
Of a four-story garage.
Wow, into what?
I believe the follow-up question is warranted here.
To like a pool? I don't like a Buick? I don't know what she
I got like
I feel like
I don't know.
I'm not that impressed because that was my sneak out at night escape plan.
Right, there you
I would
go.
crawl
From the
out my
fourth
window.
floor?
Oh no, from a first floor garage.
Oh, well, then
I
whatever.
lived in-
Calm
I
down,
lived in
young man.
suburbia.
Calm down.
With the first floor window.
yeah, and I had an air conditioner to step down off of.
Nice.
Calm down, young
I'll
man.
pay listeners to bring us popcorn if they can get it here.
There's nothing. There's that little scratch.
Or the cake.
Oh, we can do the cake. I don't give a shit.
All right, it's your turn. You got a story?
I do. Of course I have a story. I got a couple more. New York mother Deanna Pilling thought she'd give her daughter the surprise of a lifetime by flying cross-country and showing up at her dorm room. Little did she know, she would be on the receiving end of the surprise.
Oh.
Deanna arrived on Utah State University's campus and headed straight for her daughter McKenna's dorm
Home of the
room.
Aggies.
She made herself comfy and decided to send her daughter a goofy selfie from her very own bed, and it looked a little bit like this. But that's when things went south really fast. Her reply was, well, let's go to the next picture. Hang on, let's go. She goes to this one. Sprint message, and she's like, daughter's like, look where I am. Where are you? Where is that? In my dorm room. Please tell me you're not in someone else's dorm room. Oh, I'm in the wrong dorm room. Oh my God. Well, apparently she felt sick to her stomach because she already said hi to several people in the dorm, and they probably had no idea who I was.
Oh, crazy lady walked in, threw up in the bed.
Deanna told Good Morning America, I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't even look at the same building. I could be in the wrong building altogether. I was just in a panic, McKenna said. Luckily for everyone, she wasn't in the wrong building, and the two were able to find each other very soon.
After a short game of Marco Polo.
Right.
I still play that at the grocery store all the time.
As for the owner,
Marco Polo.
As for the owner of the bed that she was in, turns out she was a friend of McKenna's. The hilarious photo has been since retweeted about 17,000 times since last Thursday. Luckily for the Pillings, there hopefully won't be any more embarrassing surprises at school this year. Deanna flew down just to help McKenna move out of her room for the summer. By the way, parents, just don't try to surprise your kids in their dorm room.
And don't get on a dorm bed, even if that was her daughter's. God only knows how many boys have been up in that business.
Lice and semen. That's all that's in
Yeah,
that bed. Lice
wow.
and semen.
Dead bed bugs and live semen. Yeah, pull the cord. Just rip it off.
There we go.
Here's my takeaway from that. All it takes to get on Good Morning America now is to be just the lost, embarrassing mom in the dorm room.
Okay.
Well, it's because it's the
they were
plot
on
of the
Good Morning
AB show The
America.
Middle on Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
That's fair.
What the hell is in this?
Chocolate.
I'm gonna guess calories.
No.
Oh, jeez, it's falling apart.
Okay.
Be
Well,
careful.
Once I break the walls of the kingdom, what happens?
He's got a knife. Oh, there actually is cake inside it.
Oh, sweet
Oh,
Jesus.
what in the hell?
Looks magic.
You can't see it in the shot, but Al is cutting a Twix cake or a Kit Kat cake.
Kit Kat cake.
Kit Kat cake. Are there? Oh, I need that. That utensil you're holding. I need that. Don't stab me.
We're eating in studio.
No.
I know Molly Montgomery loves us for this.
Does she even listen anymore? She doesn't chat us. She doesn't chat us.
Oh, here.
I'm just saying.
There's the shot that shows Al. There's the cake in front of Al.
Yeah, show the cake in front of the fat girl with a knife.
Stop.
But that's a blue shirt.
Well, who else would have the cake in front of them, dear?
Yeah, it's true.
That's a good point.
Now, are those M&Ms or Reese's Pieces?
M&Ms.
M&Ms.
I don't know. All mine have W's on them.
I just want to point out
Throw an M&M.
that you need to vacuum after we're done here. And B, if the M&Ms don't make it onto your piece of cake, I'm eating them.
That's fair. That's fair.
This is
But
just
you
falling
really
apart.
can't let this studio go unclean for a week because
I feel weird about eating Kit Kats with a fork.
You're throwing things at me.
It's turned into some kind of a Holocaust program over here.
Is there going to be a shoe museum?
It was recently Holocaust Remembrance Day. We're very timely.
We are.
We are timely.
Very
We're
timely.
Oh my God! I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna be in a sugar coma.
Amina in the chat room. Amina says "License Semen, the best advertisement for lesbianism ever." I feel like you're misunderstanding lesbianism.
You guys advertise now?
I feel like, in my experience, there's
When
not a
did you
whole
come
lot of
out? The
semen
first time I saw
happening there.
License Semen together, I thought, oh, fuck it. Bring me that Melissa Etheridge album.
Oh, that's fair.
Somebody bring me some water.
Lang when you need her.
Incidentally, go find
Come
the
to my
song
window.
I'm changing my major to Joan from the Tony award-winning musical Fun Home. That's the best advertisement for lesbianism.
What is it
ever.
called?
I'm changing my major to Joan.
Okay.
Well,
That's a great
that's
song.
very
I
likely.
don't know anything about this song. Where you want to go today, dummy?
I don't know. Who's got a story? What's going on?
Mine's
What are we doing?
right. Mine's
All right.
Who's
My-
going to talk so the rest of us can
Take
eat?
that shot off!
Oh, I'm sorry. So sorry.
Shrink me down!
You're turning violet, Violet.
That girl a favor.
What is getting right there? Oh, look. I squished your hand.
Oh, wait.
It's behind you, Al.
I'm trying to get John Oliver into her pincher grip.
Well, quit moving John Oliver.
He's trying to avoid it.
Jesus Christ. You two are.
Bob and weave.
Duck and cover.
This is free of charge, as long as you paid for your internet.
Look.
Oh.
He has to have his muzzle top.
Oh, Jesus. He was Christian for 30 seconds.
So that big old
And he
bigot.
fought a lobster the whole time.
Hey. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Caught it. That was pretty good, huh?
Where did the M&M come from?
It was in my hand over here, and then
It bounced off the boobage?
Lots of stuff, and then
Got
right
it.
here and back in. Nice.
I feel like my sugar beaties is going to kick in because there's a lot going on here.
Not sure what's happening with
All
this
right,
too.
tell your fucking story. Sing my motherfucking song. Get this cake away from me. Christ Lord.
Is it
You
bad?
started it.
No, it's delicious, but I don't
Turn
want to
around.
I
No.
almost went to the cake.
You can put it behind you on that.
I wanna.
Okay, I'm just saying.
All right, so I didn't hear you guys discuss Kirk Cameron
No.
and his Christian bigotedness.
I try not to, in fact.
Well, I just thought it would be interesting to get people's takes on the fact that apparently women are supposed to be completely subservient to their husbands. Normally, this wouldn't be a story that this Alan Clifton would cover. But considering Kirk Cameron has been propped up by the right as some sort of beacon for Christian values, and he has used what fame he has to push his god-awful, pun intended, it says.
What fame he has left.
Has a left, you're exactly right, to the fanatical Christian propaganda. This writer thought he would have a little fun tearing apart recent comments that Cameron made, where he literally said that women are to be subservient to their husbands. It was in an interview with the Christian Post. Wives are to honor and respect and follow their husband's lead. not to tell their husbands how he ought to be a better husband, Cameron said. When each person gets their part right, regardless of how their spouse is treating them, there is hope for real change in their marriage. Hear that, ladies?
Yeah.
Stop telling your husbands how they should be better and simply follow their lead.
Yeah. Now, he's not up for a role in a 1950s movie, is he?
1935, maybe.
No, Jesus.
But naturally, he's taking these words from the Bible, of course. A book that typically
Mythical
treats
creature.
women like they're subhuman vessels, only good for having children or serving men.
Because at the time of its
But
writing,
you're allowed to rape them once in a while.
Right. So it's not exactly that big of a shock that Cameron, a hardcore religious fanatic, seems to believe that women are to be seen and treated as second-class citizens. But Cameron's words point to a much bigger problem in the ever-growing influence religious fanaticism has in the Republican Party. While his views are clearly more on the fringe side of the party, let's not forget that Senator Ted Cruz, who's now out of the race, this was from May 1st, but he says is a very dangerous religious fanatic. Ted Cruz is someone who's defended the endorsement of a pastor who called Adolf Hitler a hunter sent by God. His father has referred to the theory of evolution as a communist belief, and Cruz has literally said that the only way to save the United States is to turn it into a theocracy. So we can dismiss fools like Kirk Cameron for their draconian, outdated, and blatantly sexist beliefs as just some random idiot expressing a view that's only believed by a certain section of religious bigots. It seems easy to do.
Until they pass a law in North Carolina.
Right. But I can't help but feel that this sort of fanaticism is becoming more and more accepted in today's Republican Party. There was a time when someone like Kirk Cameron wouldn't have been as open with these views. As an actor or candidate as radical as Ted Cruz, wouldn't have come anywhere close to winning a presidential nomination. Except this sort of behavior is becoming more acceptable. Creationist museums sprouting up all over the country, pushes to teach creationism in schools and laws being passed in many Republican-controlled states where religion is being used as a mechanism to discriminate against homosexuals, and I truly believe that it is all tied
and women
together.
and minorities, because that's what they're doing. They're saying you can't sue anybody for. One of the things they're saying is not only is it not a thing, but you can't sue us for discrimination.
Right.
And they don't just say gays and lesbian. They're like sex, race. Like they're taking it to an absurd extreme.
Mm-hmm. Very much. And if you doubt me, it says check out an article I did a couple of years ago about the 7 cultural mountains and the push by powerful people to slowly over time interject religious control over nearly every facet of our lives. Based on the signs I've seen over the last few years, I think that movement is pushing heavily to become a reality. And
I feel like they should all be in the past tense. Like I think we're already living in this. Like this is already happening.
Yeah.
These laws are being passed and but it's already like dated because that is what we're going through with North Carolina and every state with these bills and one of the things like when you go to like Alaska and they talk about like the mountains and how they formed, like they don't sugarcoat it and give you and now for those of you who believe in creationism, we're going to tell you how these mountains formed. They just like throw it at you. And like they did that in Colorado. Like this is the shift of the tectonic plates, if I'm using that correctly.
Tectonic, I think.
Tectonic.
There's a C in there.
And it takes millions and millions of years to create these peaks. Like, not the Flintstones, millions and millions of years. And we weren't here for some of them. Like, it didn't happen in a day 2,000 years ago. So it's really funny when you go places because you just know it because you can see that there's people around you that are like, oh, can you believe he thinks the earth is that old? Isn't that charming? God made that.
Drives me crazy.
That's just nonsense. He should color that with crayons. God made that. You know, I mean, you can hear it, and and when you're in Hawaii, and they're like, I know you don't want to believe it, but that's the hospital where Obama was born, and they're like, and if you have opinions on it, we just don't want to hear it. But like, we have a president born in our state for the first time.
And
we're very proud of it.
Right.
So if you have comments about it, talk to each other. Don't talk to me. And that was literally our bus driver in Hawaii.
That's fantastic. Good for him.
But when they're talking about like volcanic islands and like all these different places where like it takes millions of years for this to happen. Like this didn't spring up last week. Like 3 weeks ago, this wasn't an Arby's, and now there's a mountain here because Jesus said so.
Arby's.
Like, it's a process.
Yeah, and this and without without going into it and reading it, that article.
I think you already did.
Radical 7 cultural. No, that other one that he was talking about, the Radical 7 cultural mountains conservative movement, and why liberals should be terrified. It just in reading through it, that was from 2013.
But I feel like they should all be in the past tense.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I'm like, they're changing school books. Yeah. They're whitening school books so that like slavery didn't happen. Like,
right. We can't talk about that.
There is no Trail of Tears. Like, if you watch Fox News over this Harriet Tubman thing, Andrew Jackson was just the greatest president, and all of them have pictures of him over their beds at home.
Yeah.
Like, they've been worshiping at the shrine of Andrew Jackson since almost the day they were born. Well, he's up there with Ayn Rand.
Since Monday is how long.
Yes,
they've been
exactly.
Monday.
But have you noticed on Fox News how just
I have not watched.
deeply attached they are to Andrew Jackson, and he's the greatest president. And seriously, the War of 1812 that we've all been very concerned about up to like almost day before yesterday, we wouldn't have won it without him.
Oh,
I mean, the guy on Fox News was like almost in tears. He's like, "Do you not understand the War of 1812? No, it was 200 years ago and it's over."
No
and then
one
he drove all the Indians
understands
to Oklahoma. And he didn't drive them; he made them walk, and it was horrible. Like, and
However,
he was a slave owner.
I'd like Fox to do some live footage that was shot during that war, because I'm sure they could create it.
Oh, sure.
But I mean, you have to listen to them that are all of a sudden they want a musical, and they can't figure out why there's not a musical about Andrew Jackson, because it would be pretty horrible to most people. Some of them are slaves, some of them are walked to their death. Doesn't go well.
That feels bad to me.
Oh, but it's really, Fox News has been a treat since this happened. Like,
I'll bet.
Because they only get on it once a day, but whoever they get to like sign up to be like, Andrew Jackson has been my personal Lord and Savior.
Andrew Jackson is Jesus.
Yeah,
now.
he is my Ayn Rand.
Could be.
Andrew Jesus Jackson.
I thought that.
And if you know the Republican Party, you know that they all misread Ayn Rand. So you know that that's like every single person. If you're
gospel,
this is okay. Here's your clip.
Bring it up.
In the year of our Lord, whatever this is, at 8:47, and let's
Your
say PM.
Lord.
Sure.
If you think you're talking to a douche and you're pretty sure he's like off the rails, just stupid, just have you read Ayn Rand? If it turns into who the fuck is that, you're like, all right, we're safe. But if all of a sudden he tells you about how it changed his life one summer, you're like, oh, run now.
Listen, Garth Brooks.
Yeah, that is the litmus test. That's the litmus test for the political set. Is the Ayn Rand? If they start spewing that bullshit, she's a fucking atheist.
Mm-hmm.
But,
is she the one? I think
she's the one that Paul Ryan just.
But she's not the one who was on
the beaver every day.
Who was on?
Oh no, she's been dead for a long time.
I'm going back in time. Let me finish my statement before you cut me off. Was she the one that was on?
You're gonna say on the Kardashians last week. I'm just fucking with you.
Was she the one that was on Donahue all those years ago? The older white-haired lady that was the atheist that just was everybody was all up in arms about, and if I'm not mistaken, got murdered. Her and her sons.
No, that is not Ayn Rand. That's just an atheist.
But she was big back in the 80s. She was a real
Ayn Rand
big.
died March 6, 1982. She was 76
Okay, then no, because this one was like in her 40s or 50s
Right.
when she was on Donahue way back, an older woman.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. A man in Israel apparently doesn't want God to answer his prayers, so he filed a restraining order against the Almighty himself. The plaintiff identified as David. Well, here we'll go right live. Here is actually a live picture of him being served. The plaintiff identified as David Shoshan appeared in a courtroom in Haifa on Tuesday, demanding that God stop interfering in his life, according to NRG, an Israeli news website.
NRG.
Shoshan told the court that over the last 3 years, God has been very negative towards him, though court documents did not detail any specifics. Shoshan said that he has tried numerous times to obtain the restraining order through the police department, but in response, only received 10 police visits over a 36-month period. That's why this time he tried to go through the courts instead. Court documents noted that God did not present himself at the hearing. The presiding judge, Ashan Kanan, threw out Shoshan's request and called it absurd. Kanan suggested that Shoshan should get help from someone besides local law enforcement.
Shame, Sean.
It was not immediately clear if God had an attorney.
Does anyone have any insulin?
I know.
Oh, my final story. You might need
just
some.
Just a drop.
Oh, for that? Yeah. No shit.
My diabetes is acting up.
I'm not sure how long I've been unconscious, but I feel I've missed like 25 minutes of the show due to the coma I was in.
Yeah.
Well,
Felt longer.
And a happy birthday to you.
By the way, did we clarify the fact that the reason we're eating this cake is his birthday's tomorrow? Or
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I don't know if we ever brought that up. I mean, you gave him a card. There was a cake.
Yeah, I mean, and Amina sent me a funny thing earlier that because of the time difference, I'm 2 different ages.
Oh, like she's listening to you at one age and you're actually one age here?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So
I did not enjoy her age for me.
She's listening. What?
Amina's always listening from the future.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Right. Uh-huh.
I wish you'd tell us what.
I used to joke about listening from the future when I would listen after the fact.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And now you've met someone who really is.
It'd be nice if she could tell us what not to do on the show before we do
I know, right?
No.
I think that
You've
would
had
be
too much
fantastic.
sugar. Settle down.
Well, I'm holding this Kit Kat out, though. Well, I got
I
one here.
actually want to throw something different out than the last story, and it's about our friend and our listener, Laura Mastro Pietro. That she now has is a consultant for the cannabis. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you had seen that. She is she put a consulting thing out there for people to get help with how medicinal
works and how to get
and how to be able to get it. So I just want to give her a shout out. So that if anybody is interested, she's part of our Facebook page.
Yeah, I think she's part of the show's page. Yeah.
She's on the show's page, and we'll jump in the chat room every now and again. She usually listens a little bit later, but I haven't read enough about exactly what she's going to be doing. But she has been
handing out snacks. Is going to be a guess.
She's been.
But she helps you with the right.
Supporter.
Yeah, they'll help you with the right dosage and be the person to go to. Like I was saying, with those trans, it's a serious medicine how they're treating it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
she's
what
a weed
it is.
She's like
and
a
what
weed
the right
shrink. I love
balance
it,
is
yes.
between like
good
laying on the couch and staring blankly, doing nothing, and living your life through pain or through nausea or anything that's affecting you. Like getting you on the right amount of anything so that you can function is the goal, not to just be like not in pain and sitting staring at something.
Right. Absolutely.
Like perhaps this cake.
Maybe.
So it's finding out the right thing and then finding out what you actually like. What do you need? Do you need an oil? Right. Is it something they can rub in your shoulder and you'll get the effects and maybe pass a pee test?
And how it can help with all kinds of things, from Parkinson's to, with cancer treatments and just all kinds of different things. So I think it's a really important work that she's doing. She has suffered with porphyria for a very long time. And so that's how I believe a lot of this had come to fruition. So she really supports children. As far as with seizures, a lot of she's worked with folks with developmental disabilities for years and
now that they're just, and because we all have that image of like people just like, oh, I'm smoking this because of my glaucoma that they've never been. But now to find out like there's dosages,
there's actual
they're doing like 10 milligrams, 20 milligrams. Like there's an actual dose. Like how much do you need? And you're like, I don't know. What did the lady in the sell me in the manila envelope? But there's just no way to know. So it's very interesting, and that's why I was so fascinated by that transdermal patch, because that's a controlled amount over a certain amount of time. Like that's a very controlled way to like level out what you're doing. You would need someone with a little bit more education than Bob Marley to tell you how to put that on, or Cheech or Chong.
Well, Dave's not here, man.
Yeah.
Come on. Well, and I'm gonna put, if I can do this correctly. Let's see.
You gonna try to put a link in the chat room?
Yeah,
it's right there.
If it's there, it's lauramastropietro.com, and it's Stay Lifted, and we're not talking about the boys, but it's to help people. So that getting rid of the stigma that's associated.
Yeah. And her story is very interesting about like all that she went through illness wise and what the cannabis did for her. It's a very interesting story to see someone turn their life around without like so much pharmaceuticals and get to a point where she can high functioning,
very high
living her
they're
life.
Running a fantastic restaurant in Sedona, Arizona. She has really just been an advocate, a huge advocate, and learning. She's very, very smart gal and one of my best friends. So I'm very proud of her with what she's doing, and so I know I'm on a roll. I mean, I love it. But anyway, if that interests anyone, I just wanted to give her a big shout out because
she was a chef for a while, like helping them develop for one of the
she's a baker.
One of the medical places here. She was putting together recipes.
Yeah, she's really into the different baked goods and different ways, so it's not just about sitting around and smoking necessarily. People were able to get it through edibles and in different ways. So just a big shout out to her. I'm really proud of her. And
well done.
She's been a real big supporter of us. And
always she has been.
Hand that back.
Brought a beautiful young man to the studio. And a beautiful young man.
Yeah, he remembers a beautiful young man. I remember the pizza. That's why we can't have a wide shot on me.
Right. But she's a doll, so
clearly the pizza sticks around longer
than the young boy.
Now tell your story so I can eat my cake.
Well, I realize this is an odd segue from a beautiful boy story. Well, we realize that your penis is really, really busy. But some inventive soul has apparently found another use for it, and it's unlocking your cell phone. Samsung Galaxy S7, to be very precise. According to him, boredom and curiosity has got the best of me. User, his online name was Meatwad75892. He wrote on Reddit, "Tonight I discovered that you can successfully register and unlock a Galaxy S7 using your penis as a fingerprint."
Oh.
He said, I had to get this out there, so if you're just as curious as I am
had to get it out
and
there.
happen to have a Y chromosome, turn your junk upside down and give it a shot, he says. The writer of the story says that they're too embarrassed to try this in the office, and besides, who would let us use their phone, let alone their penis, for such testing?
Well, we're upside down. I feel like we should be doing something else.
I'm not sure why we're upside down.
But be our guest, dear reader, and share the results with the comments that are below the story. Our attempts to reach Samsung and the Reddit author Meatwad75892 for comment have been unsuccessful.
She's trying to call him right now. Hold on, stand by.
Everybody's got that number so many. No, that's just his screen name.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Meatwad75892.
Preceded by a pound sign.
The claim attracted hundreds of Reddit comments, some of which detailed other things that people were doing with their penises and phones. But we're not going to go into that here. Meatwad75892 also reported that he tried to register his tongue, left testicle, nipples with varying results. But, Meatwad75892, you're doing some very inspiring work out there, so keep it up.
I like it. Wow, well done.
Now, is it a different mark when he's hard or when he's soft?
I don't
didn't know there were fingerprints there. So
it's Meatwad.
They're his.
We don't want to know.
I'm thinking he doesn't get out much.
You big Meatwad.
And there might be a dusting of Cheetos from his last snack.
Like you, right?
Yeah,
like you do.
Why is my dick orange?
What have you been doing lately? Nothing. Just sitting at home eating Cheetos. That's still one of the best jokes ever.
Oh my God. Well, if you're eating Cheetos, keep it up. We're going to come right back. By the way, our drinking word is nudity. We haven't used it a lot.
Nudity.
We're coming back with an entertainment section with Al Perkins and something we're going to crap all over from Kat Carlson. By the way, fund her hip replacement surgery.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton
Oh my God.
McKee.
Good evening once again, everybody. It is 9 o'clock, the beginning of the final hour to 90 minutes of the show, depending on how wrapped up it all gets. I am Clayton McKee in studio with Kat Carlson, Marnie Ryer, and Al Perkins sitting around the old table of fun and joy. But before we get too far into this hour, we've got to start with this because, well, Al knows how things get when you start drinking earlier. Please, boys and girls, welcome Al Perkins in his entertainment section.
Entertainment! I didn't really have much going on. I have some updates about shows that are coming to LA that you might want to see. I have a review of the movie Sing Street. And then I'm going to go to places that have entertainment headlines and see what they're saying. I was out of town. I just got back in town 3 minutes ago.
Well done. I like how you put it together.
Mark.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I sent you the.
I saw that.
Is that who you were
I
talking
think that's who
about?
I'm talking about, yeah. And she was murdered, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she's a cunt.
Why was she a cunt? She was an atheist.
Oh, she was a mean.
Oh, Ayn Rand?
No.
Who are we actually talking about?
Madeline Murray O'Hare. I think that's who I'm talking about.
She was a mean woman.
Not familiar.
That's
So
why she was
Deadpool
killed.
came out on video today. If you did not have the chance to enjoy the Deadpool at the movie theaters, I'm sorry for you. Rent it, enjoy it, just sit back and relax, and it is very, 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 very funny. So
That's what I've heard.
Yeah, I've seen it twice now, and the second time I laughed even more because I caught a couple things that I laughed over the first time.
That's with the cutie
Ryan Reynolds.
right?
Really,
Okay.
really, really, very, very funny.
I found out with like Marvel taking over the world that I'm just not that brand of nerd.
Right, and this is
like
very different. This one kind of makes
nerds collide all over the place, and I'm just not that brand of nerd.
And you need just a little bit of Marvel knowledge for some of the jokes. Like, because the whole Deadpool is supposed to be part of the whole Marvel universe.
Right.
So when he opens up the door and they can't afford all the actors that play, and then he's like, it's an awful big house just to have two of you. But they have like two minor characters answer the door because they can't afford Robert Downey Jr. to be in this movie. And like,
right.
So all the Marvel people aren't there, but there's like all these like inside baseball jokes and then just the dirty, dirty, dirty stuff. But it really is funny how often they make fun of their budget and the fact that they're not really part of the Marvel universe. So every time there's supposed to be a big fight scene, he accidentally forgets all his guns because they didn't have the budget.
Yeah, because that's his shtick. Is he's a superhero that knows
meta.
he's in a comic.
Yeah, he's in the meta, and it's cute. So it came out today. And, what do you down like $1.99, $2.99 if you want to go fancy and watch an HD.
I always go fancy.
Get a job, splurge a little.
I have a job. I do.
I meant that in the general. You.
Okay. I have a couple of jobs.
So coming to LA, so for everybody for road trips that we might be planning as a group, we have Fun Home coming to LA.
Yep.
It's also coming to Las Vegas.
It gets even closer.
Nice.
When's it going to be?
You got to
in LA?
watch about Las Vegas though, because depending if it's not at UNLV,
It's at the Smith Center.
Okay, it's got to be at a real center because if it goes to the Strip, they cut it down to 90 minutes and they edit it.
No. It's at the Smith Center. It's at their actual like traveling Broadway.
There you go. So Fun Home, Into the Woods is getting a revival done. Beautiful show at
so
the
cute.
Amazon. And then
That's a good one.
oh fuck, Hedwig is coming with
nice.
Darren Criss from Glee.
Okay.
I saw he was just going to be the new Hedwig.
Yeah, and he's doing the West Coast. They're
He's
going to
gonna
do San
travel it.
Francisco, LA, and then from there, who knows? He'll take over if he'll do a national tour because they're threatening a whole national tour of it.
Oh,
but
that'd be
I'm
nice.
not sure how. You know what I mean? Like how long can they do the tour? How many cities would it play? Like Gamage is way too big for Hedwig.
Yeah.
Like that's just way too big a stage to have a one-man show. Like that would just be obnoxious.
That'd be a lot, yeah.
They need to scale that down to like the Orpheum or something like that. Like that's got to come to a small, much, much, much smaller house.
I love it. Yeah, we do a meetup.
Yes, so definitely on the list. And I know Hamilton is coming there at some point. That's where they're doing their LA debut. I'm curious to see who they cast. But
Yeah,
I
I know.
bought the soundtrack. Like after just listening to bits and pieces, I finally bought the soundtrack. Didn't get it shipped because I was leaving town the next day. But luckily, when you get the
digital as well.
the digital
Yay.
copy with it. And I have to say, like, for those of you who have not listened, like, not only, and like, it's a lot of information, but
It
then
is.
it turns into, like, really light, lovely, poppy songs. Like, there's just some good, fucking solid
yes.
music in there. As soon as the Schuyler Sisters comes on, it just takes on a tone of, like, there's lovely ballads, there's pretty songs, there's a lot of information, and you're just honestly, like, kind of tapping your toe and like, it's
You're
just
going
good,
along for the
solid
ride,
songwriting.
and you don't get all the information the first time around.
Oh,
you
no.
don't get all the information the second time around. My husband's here. Hi.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize how quickly
But
he was going.
I just kept getting captured by like the musicality of it and just how like really strong the songs
Oh yeah,
were.
and the Schuyler Sisters are so great. Like every time the Schuyler Sisters start to sing, I'm
The
captivated.
King George song was a delight. But I'm just gonna kill your. You
You're
love
fine.
me, yeah. What does he say? Like you love me, and to prove it, I'm gonna kill all your.
To remind you
to
of
remind
my
love,
love,
I'm
yeah.
gonna kill all your family and
Kill
friends.
your friends and family
Yeah,
to remind you of my love. Da 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 da
Yeah, and it's such a nice listen. I was really delighted by it.
Yeah.
Did
you get all the way through?
I made it all the way through once, and then I left town. So now and then it came in the mail today. When this guy Clayton
I am over here.
When he got me my mail, it had packages in it, and that was Hamilton. So now I want to just read through the whole thing and just.
Oh, and then there's the Hamiltome. Like there's an entire giant book that they just recently put out that has all of the lyrics.
Everybody's got a wiki, because
right.
I have now learned, and this is how I lost my life recently. I have found out that any TV show that you enjoy that's been on longer than 25 minutes has its own wiki page.
Yep. Wikipedia?
Like Lostopedia. So let's say I feel like Leaguer Matt Maratzka, and I want to argue with Al for 6 hours one night about the ending of Lost. Because I feel like things are unresolved.
Right.
Let's go to Lostopedia and answer your
let's
question.
Find out, yeah.
And oh my God, you could be so nerdy, and you'd be like, yes, they covered that in season 3, episode 4, line 6,
and
where they told you where that came from.
Increasingly searchable and cross-referenced.
Oh,
yeah.
So they have it for Orphan Black. They have it for House of Cards. Because I was like, okay, I don't remember this character from the last season, and I'm really bored, so I just typed in the character's name. Mm-hmm. Bam! House of Cardsopedia. And I'm like, fuck you, people.
Yes.
Going to be on pause for about 45 minutes while I investigate this person like he's my lost relative.
Yeah.
It's just embarrassing how once I like something, I'll just tail to snout that
we're
shit.
We're gonna need to get you the book. I'm
gonna need the book, the movie.
I'm on the fence of renting or not renting of reading. Similar.
Starts with an R. Some letters
of
the
reading
the biography that it's based on. Yeah, because it's based on a biography that was written a few years ago. So.
But I'm a cheap ass, so I'm kind of like $12 for the Kindle edition, settle down.
Public library.
That's totally.
So.
It's a really good idea.
The other day I
feel like they still have
those.
those.
Errands all around town, and I ran into the Jason Carlton. Hello.
Hi, lovely.
How's it going?
On the day of my errands, but the thing that
had to be, keep your gay voice on.
Yeah.
No.
The thing that had to be jettisoned off of the day was my stop into the library to get my virtual card. But there was wine to be drank and a Durant's to have something at. So
that seems very important. I like it.
Yeah, for those who are wondering who just walked in, Jason Carlton has joined us in studio, so he is here with us. The unfortunate part is the only shot I can do. That doesn't work.
I can sit
this
here.
Is the only no.
Oh, he's hidden.
This is the only shot. No. If you lean forward, lean forward. There you are. That's the only shot I can get you in. And it's coming from that.
Yo, no, turn that off.
Calm down.
I am retaining so much water. You don't pee in Colorado because it's like your body's trying to concentrate its fucking blood. Although that would make it seem the other way, like you should pee all the time. No.
Think about your analogies before you use them.
Things that make you go home.
Let's work on those metaphors. And
maybe I just ate a lot.
That's fair. That happens every time I go out of
chance.
Hi, Harry.
Let me think. So I think that was it for. I really had nothing for entertainment. All the networks are going to announce their new shows next Monday. So sometime between now and Friday morning, all the shows that you're wondering, am I going to watch that next year, are going to be canceled or renewed. So the shows that are remaining, which is what I was hoping to lead with, but the networks aren't giving up anything up early. Like I finished Sleepy Hollow, kind of half-heartedly. I wasn't really paying attention, but they left you with they finished that show. So if they get canceled, they left on a really good note of but they killed 2 major characters out of 4.
No. Mm-hmm.
And then they lost it. They made them dead at the end. Like we're not fucking around. You're dead.
Not coming back.
No. So that was kind of rough.
Well,
and then Sing Street, the movie Sing Street. I'm sure I talked about this last week.
Negative.
Or I saw it on Wednesday, which is possible.
I think you saw it. You did see it Wednesday.
So Sing Street, it's by the guy that did Once. About the Irish couple that sing songs together, won the Oscar for Falling Slowly or Slowly Falling. They did Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo. He did Begin Again with Mark Ruffalo and Keira Knightley that I loved, where they don't have money for a studio, so they make an album all around New York using the sounds and the settings of New York. Well, this is about a boy in the 80s who falls in love with a girl across the street. She says she's a model. He sees music videos for the first time, so he decides he's gonna start a band so he can make a video so she can star in it.
Like a star band.
Perfectly. Oh, exactly. Want star band? Perfectly charming, delightful movie. They play some old '80s stuff because every time he watches a new video on Tops of the Pops, he dresses like that band. So you
Okay.
get a couple.
cute.
You get a couple of old '80s songs, and the timing's all wrong. Like he finds like he'd be the worst person in London if he didn't find Duran Duran until 1985. Like they were on like album number 3 by then. So like settle down.
Right.
We're in Wild Boys territory. I think they had a greatest hits album. So like the movie starts off like. But we're all watching the Goldbergs together, so we're all used to like abandoning like the real timeline of the '80s. But and then they do all original music, except for the few songs that give you like the bands and what he's dressed like. Everything else is original '80s music, based on the guy that wrote the movie. It's songs that he wrote back then for the girl that he had a crush on. It's kind of autobiographical. So they're really like solid '80s songs that he writes to make these really funny videos. And like just the terrible makeup, and like none of them know what they're doing, and it's called Sing Street, and it's so good. Al 2.0, what does that mean?
Carlton.
Oh, I did not get that.
That's funny.
It happens.
That is good.
So I mean, but it's really good. It's called Sing Street. It just came out, I think, like maybe 2 weeks ago. And it's just a delight. And if you haven't seen Begin Again, if you want to wait till that comes out on video, then just watch Begin Again, or watch Once. If you haven't seen that, then your life gets sadder and sadder. But Once is the beautiful Irish. It's a couple.
I've never
They're
felt so
Irish.
bad
They're
about
making
my
it as a
life.
band. You never saw Once?
No.
Oh my God! Just Google the song
All right,
"Falling
I'm going.
Slowly" and you'll be fucking done. They won an Oscar for it. But
I don't want to die.
But it's so cute,
Not
and
today.
it's the true story of these two people that got together, and he's older than she is, and they made a band. And then they fell in love, and then they fell out of love. It's called Once, and it became a Broadway musical. Like it just goes on and on of the story of these two.
A vacuum repairman. Clayton, how have you never seen this show?
Shut up. It is not about a vacuum repairman.
A vacuum repairman, parenthetically, Glenn Hansard, moonlights as a street musician and hopes for his big break.
It's my
He's a
life
vacuum-
story. I've been waiting for my big break for years.
How have you never seen this movie?
I knew nothing
Blake
about
McGee?
it. Oh my God. What's it called? Once?
Once
Upon a Vacuum.
Released in 2006.
What can I get this on?
Oh my God, it's that old?
It's that old.
What can I get this on?
You're that
Oh
old.
my God.
I know.
I didn't know it was that old.
I'm not sure where we can get it. Let's stand by. Let's check Amazon.
Very good.
Anticipation is killing me.
Stand by.
I'm
very fast.
Some different news. Sharon Osbourne and Ozzy have split.
Yeah.
What?
Since
Yeah.
One of them regained consciousness. It was like, oh.
Ozzy's been having an affair with another woman.
Shut the front door.
'Cause they were
Someone
with-
else was willing to sleep with
both
Ozzy
of you?
Osbourne?
I know. Wouldn't both of you have an affair? Like,
I would have
I
started the
honestly
affair
couldn't-
long ago.
After 30-some years, like I was.
Because the other day he was
by that 'cause I
was
thought,
missing,
wow.
and they were putting out like kind of a
He was wandering
a silver
around,
alert on him trying to find Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah.
just looking for a bat.
Because Sharon even missed the show, her talk show yesterday,
Okay.
because they were trying to find
Because
him.
they were breaking.
Oh,
well,
I didn't
and
hear
because
about
they
that.
were breaking up. Like you always call in sick the day that
Well,
you're
breaking
breaking
up is
up.
hard
Yeah.
to do.
See Kelly and Michael.
Right.
We know how this works.
Right.
Yeah, that's a
See,
good point.
several times that I've called in sick to work over my life. Like you always
Yeah.
just call in sick that
Can't
day.
find my girlfriend. Gonna have to call in sick.
32, 33 years. I thought that was interesting. Like, why
And
the
they
fuck
have-
couldn't you have left a long time ago?
And the thing that I didn't know, do you know there's a third kid who's kind of
Yeah.
normal and wants nothing to do with
Yes.
the whole reality
Yes,
television
there always
bullshit?
was.
just
Yeah.
really hates.
Yeah.
Isn't she an
There's-
older
Well,
daughter?
I figured
There's
it. I
Jack and
figured
Kelly,
I think it
and
was
then
around for a
there's
while.
The older
Amy
daughter.
or Amy or
Her reproductive years are
something.
maybe a couple years.
Amy is correct. Yeah,
Amy,
because
yeah.
when they had the show, the Osbournes,
Like,
she was
wanted
always
nothing,
off
right?
camera.
Yeah.
No, she's only in like 3 shots that entire series because
Oh.
she's always off camera because she wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
She's like,
Yeah, I was
nope,
shocked.
I'm
to
here for
find
the
out.
birthday. I'm here for the fucking
Right.
cake.
Right. Do
Get
not
those
associate
damn
me.
cameras on
She
me.
did not sign the consent form.
No, I guess
No.
not.
No.
But I thought that was crazy.
And speaking of, I ran into this consent forms in reality TV. I ran into Haley and asked her about the goings on with George and Dragon and
Right.
having Bar Rescue on.
Uh-huh.
And she said she absolutely wanted nothing to do with it, wouldn't sign the consents, and just took the week off.
Oh,
She's like, I don't want to have anything to do with the
No.
show.
I agree.
Okay, so we went there to the George and Dragon's, a local English pub here in town.
Nope.
Charming. So Harrison was in town, and like we had been hearing that it was on Bar Rescue, all this remodeling. I'm like, Did they vacuum? It's the same fucking bar.
In her words, all they did was paint the dust.
Yeah. It really looks like they painted one wall blue and they made some of the table. But Doug Wilkie made it sound like they had turned it into
A luxury
Princess
hall.
Grace's palace.
Yeah.
So Harrison and I walked down there that after we had breakfast with y'all.
Right.
We walked down that way. I'm like, Harrison, this is the same fucking route. There's not one.
I think they got one new neon sign on the north end that you can see when you're driving down Central.
And the bathroom door still doesn't close.
And there might be new flags. And that's
So
all I see
thought for
from the
sure
outside.
a transsexual person would come in and pee with me. Fingers crossed.
You're an idiot.
Yeah, I don't blame her for wanting to not be part of that show. And we weren't part of it when the other one happened for the comedy center that we were part of. I wanted nothing to do with it. Like as far as that, once we learned what a shit show it became and how they did it all, I don't care for that.
Because it really is just Weekend at Bernie's. Like it's prop up the corpse, paint the dust, take the pictures, and out you go, right?
Yeah. Well, that and the other thing is if you agree to be that bar, one of the things is they don't want you to clean the bar for a month prior to their arrival.
Ugh.
You
so
leave
that they can point out.
Right. Here's what's wrong. You could have the best pristine, clean bar in the world, but they want
to walk into Joe's apartment. Right?
They don't want They in fact one of the bars. It was Apollo's when it was still open here in town. Mm-hmm. One of the things that they said to them was, "Can you cause strife and stress amongst your staff?" And they're like, "No." Can you not clean the bar for a month? They're like, "No." So they moved on to somebody else. Yeah. Because if you're gonna make them look good, or they can come in and save you.
Sure.
Yeah. No.
Well, and you have to be like some sort of financial duress usually too.
Yeah. There's all kinds of. And I'm sure that there are some of those instances where they came in and they're like, okay, this bar clearly was already in a bad state.
And they actually saved a bar.
Right. But for the most part, they just want you to make them look good by making yourself look shittier.
Well, and shows like that, I always feel like after the first season is done, like you're over. Now you're just jumping the shark. Like that first season, they probably did find some bars, turn some places around.
Yeah.
You know, some really like troublesome places. And then after that, you've just got everybody trying to get the free remodel.
Yeah, because now how many seasons are we on Real World? Like the original reality TV.
Is that still a thing?
Yes.
Oh God, that's
MTV's Real World.
MTV's Real World.
90
I
or
stopped
91.
watching. I stopped watching after the slap heard around the world in Seattle.
Oh God. with the Lyme disease girl.
Yes, with the Lyme disease girl. But that bitch reached in the car and smacked her in the face and walked away.
But we always talk about meta and all that stuff. Like when do they know? And Queer Eye was the one that because they filmed that long before it aired, and they did like their first 6 episodes. Or something. I just pulled that number out of my head.
Sure.
But you would just know, when did they realize that they had become a hit, and when did they start, being in on the joke?
Right.
Because, they didn't know what to do. They were it was kind of precocious and kind of a fun show. And then you could just tell when they knew, they were playing up to what the test score said was funny. The one that looks like a fucking Muppet is funny when he insults this. So then you would just see him, he went into a character all of a sudden instead of being genuine. So that's when you just knew that, we've turned a corner. Mm-hmm. And that's when Queer Eye started being...
About Carson Kressley?
Yeah. And if you ever... There's a fantastic documentary called Grizzly. I think it's called Grizzly. And it's about this complete and total asshole that went up and he told everyone that, he had permission to live with bears. Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he does this whole thing about living with the bears up in Alaska, and he follows around. He gets way too close with his camera, and then they would he dies.
Is it Grizzly Man from 2005?
Grizzly Man. Spoiler alert: Grizzly Man doesn't make it to the end of the movie.
It's a short series.
And as he's telling his stuff, they would cut to the park rangers being like, "No one told him to do that."
He believed.
He's like, the government told me I should get as close to the grizzlies while they're mating as I can, and then the park ranger. No one told him to do that. But he gets eaten.
Wait, he gets eaten on camera?
He gets eaten on camera.
What?
And the guy that directs the documentary listens to it I can make a movie out of this. It's just it's so fucking crazy.
Well,
but it's Carson. What's his name?
Carson Kressley.
Carson Kressley meets Elmo. By the time the movie ends, you're rooting for the grizzly bears. You can't wait for them to eat him. It's like the Titanic. You know from the beginning he doesn't make it to the end, but then you're like, oh, come on, eat him now. Get him now. Get him now. This is the scene.
And since this is a gay radio show, for the most part, some of us are gay.
Spoiler alert to those of you listening who've just tuned in.
Looking around for people that aren't.
God damn it.
Where did we hide this?
Any of you seen the reality show Chrisley Knows Best?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
No. Oh, my. And so how can he not be the biggest? He's gayer than all of us put together. Mm-hmm. He's gayer than Al's butthole.
Oh.
Well.
And that's gay.
We got weirdly specific all of a sudden.
But I mean, literally, he's the
someone
gay.
have a map?
But I really like it.
I love that.
I love it. I watch it every week.
It wasn't me.
Wait, now what's it called?
Chrisley Knows Best, and it's this family in Atlanta that's affluent, and it's a reality show about their
Oh my god! One of them just have a 16-year-old's birthday party.
Yeah,
the blonde girl and the really gay dad.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about.
Oh my god, he's so gay.
But
He's like a TV preacher gay.
Like,
yes.
Have you ever been with a queen?
Yeah, and
no.
the fun part of the show is like when they kind of do a whole modern family where all of a sudden like the mom and the dad will be sitting on a couch and they'll recap like the event of the day and the banter back and forth between the dad and the mom and he's like, you know, I'm the only princess in this house and
funny story.
Yeah, for real.
I was in a hotel room.
Saturday Night lit a skit about it. So funny.
I may or may not have enjoyed a Gummy Bear and Gummy Bershin. And I saw some of that, and I'm like, what is the point to this? But it was her 16th birthday party, and then the gay guy that was talking, and the blonde woman that was clearly there to support him, all of a sudden started dirty dancing, and the girl whose birthday party it was so offended. I'm like, oh my god, they're pretending they're a couple. And then he fathered her. Like, I didn't get it from the conversation about her birthday party. I was like so baffled by this TV show, and then I was like,
they're on 4 seasons of this.
Oh my god.
No.
That's what it says right here.
Well, luckily they've kept themselves well hidden because I didn't know what I was watching. But as you were describing that, I'm like,
episode 8.
And what is it on?
Let me see a picture.
It's on
next
TNT.
week.
Let me see a picture.
USA Network.
Yeah, let me see a picture, not one you drew.
Come on.
And not the stick figure representation. I want to see the dad to see if that's what I was watching.
I'm sure it was.
Oh yeah, because he's highlighted hair,
Botox.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you need to find the Saturday Night Live skit where they.
My asshole is offended.
Cat.
I have an official stance.
Facebook message that picture to me so I can show our viewers what we're talking about.
Oh, that. And it was one of those things that I couldn't. I was in a hotel room and the TV was all fucked up. Like it was like channel 30, 1, 2, 3, channel 31, 1, 2, 3. Have you ever seen TV like that?
No.
Yes.
But it was all like bunched together in threes, in groups of threes, and that's like I was just trying to watch a little Fear of the Walking Dead. I couldn't stay awake though.
Wait, wrong one.
You were high. I don't think that's true.
I was not.
I don't think any of that's true.
And then we'll go into like a kind of news story because I thought this was
wrong
fun.
picture. Wait.
But I enjoy that picture.
Because none of us
See if
have
that one gets
talked about
better.
this yet.
What do we not talk about?
Let me paste and go it into my thing, and we will talk about it as a story.
All right, let's do that.
Well, I still have that breaking news I was going to share with you too.
Oh, go ahead. Do it
we
now.
forgot.
Wait, but before we do that, I want to show you. First of all, I want to show you. This is what Kat accidentally sent to me.
There you go.
But I enjoy that. I think it's a fun picture.
That was already on my clipboard from something else.
And this is the picture that
Thank God it was only that.
This is the picture she meant to send to me. These are the people we're talking about. Yay! That's the gay. Like he's gay. It's Christmas or something, and he's a preacher. Is that what the deal is?
No, he's a real. I think he made his money in real estate.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought it was in clothing, but
No, I think he has a clothing
you're
line
right.
too, but
Yeah,
it's mainly
that's
from real estate.
Because originally I thought it was Ted Haggard. Like I honestly thought it was Ted Haggard talking to me. Or the guy that remember the guy that
he's
ran the.
very funny, and he like as far as I'm concerned, his family like he goes in about on and on about his family. One of them isn't on there. He has
He has
issues.
an older daughter that doesn't want to be a part.
The older daughter is kind of in and out of it, but he has a son.
Oh, the older
who's,
son too.
A drug addict, I believe.
Yep.
Oh.
And so it
Because his dad's
Is
gay.
it heroin?
I don't believe
His
so.
dad's in denial.
I don't believe
Because
so.
he's probably
they live
gay.
in
Nude.
Appalachia.
He's nude in the Nile.
He's
really
well because
is
the
something
son may be gay. That there's the rumors that I've seen on the TMZs about that too.
Okay.
Apple tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
And I think it's the son saying, "Well, I'm a big out homo. Why can't you?"
Oh.
It gets
Fair
scarier if you make the picture bigger.
Oh.
Oh, that's
It's Jim J. Bullock. I mean,
Kind of.
Oh. It's
I was
very
just
interesting.
horrified. Okay, so here's our. What was your story?
Well, it's a personal story.
Oh, but
but
please tell.
I wanted to share with you because I knew you'd care
I do deeply. Let me
We've
get
been-
more wine.
deeply. We've been
Look
talking.
how much he cares.
I've been
What's the
talking for
bottle
some
it?
time about how I'm trying to figure out a way to transition off of the cable TV into just subscribing to shit. Trying to do the a la carte.
Gasp.
Last night, for the first time in my life, I became a subscriber to Netflix. I just want you to know.
Oh, brava! And it was Grace and Frankie that brought you there.
It was Grace and Frankie. And the first person I shared my password and it was my mom because I want her to watch it too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Grace and Frankie's a good place to start.
I'm a subscriber to that, and I don't know what else I need to get on board with.
Unbreakable.
But that's all.
They're live, damn it.
They're live, damn it.
So we're gonna figure out some other stuff.
Females are strong
as hell.
Well, I mean, you can buy HBO as a standalone, and
right?
Just for Veep
HBO
alone.
now, right?
Yeah.
HBO.
Yeah.
Again.
Just
and I have not
seen.
I couldn't stay awake for Sunday's Veep, but I really wanted to.
Yeah.
And I finally saw because Aaron hates Veep, and he was like, "Oh, the poster is Obama 8 years ago. Why is that still funny?" Because everybody uses that picture, and the fact that it says maybe. It's just funny. It's not
funny.
hope. It's not change. Maybe.
Right.
But that was on the desk of my hotel room. They had the old HBO guide, which I haven't seen since like the 70s.
Oh wow!
And it was Selena Myers with So I didn't know it was the HBO guide. I just thought they had put like Selena Myers like re-election poster on my thing.
Just like a gift.
And I
for
hadn't
you.
seen it, but Aaron made fun of it in the chat room a little while ago, and I was like, God, that's funny. Maybe. Just because everybody uses
It's not
that.
hope. It's not change.
Yeah. Maybe.
The streak continues.
But that Obama picture's become the new like Andy Warhol silk screen, where like everybody's been silk screened into whatever that is, whatever that thing is called. But just cracks me up. And I had never seen it because I was like, well, I gotta look for it because he said something shitty about it. Yes, Aaron. 3 people just spontaneously laughed, so I think that qualifies.
What else did you?
Maybe comedy's different where it comes from.
Yeah.
What did you have something else before
No, that
we
was
go
it.
to Cat?
Oh yeah, no.
You did have another something else.
Yeah. So this is
We're
out of
just gonna take up my whole
entertainment.
segment this way. Here we go.
Because this, I guess this was after we broke for last week, but Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore suspended over actions opposing same-sex marriage. Alabama Chief Justice Roy Moore has been suspended and faces possible removal from office after a state commission Friday night charged him with his counts of ethics violations surrounding his actions against same-sex marriage. Now, Moore, if you don't remember, is the asshole from Alabama that fought to have the 10 Commandments put outside his court.
He's the asshole that's fought everything that
Got
there is to be
excommunicated or whatever they do to the judges, then got reelected to his position, and then told everyone in the state to like ignore the same-sex marriage laws. So the Alabama Judicial Inquiry Commission has forwarded those charges, which are we don't know. The court will rule on the charges, and despite rulings by both a federal judge and later the U.S. Supreme Court, Moore instructed probate judges throughout Alabama to ignore those higher courts and to refuse to issue licenses to same-sex couples. Moore and his attorney, the head of the anti-hate group Liberty Council, last month held a press conference to explain his positions. He said transsexualism is a known mental illness and claimed there is nothing in writing that you will find that I told anybody to disobey a federal court order. That's not what I said. But he's talking about transsexuals, and the thing was gay marriage. You know what I mean? Like, so he just all of a sudden went to a whole different...
Just mixed your metaphors.
Yeah.
Like a glimpse as to what here's what I'm going to be a bigot about later. I'm going to talk about them, but he didn't mean to say the word at the time.
Yeah. So the full document charging Moore is 293 pages, although most are footnotes and supporting case law. But it's all there. So I just thought that was really interesting. Like in North Carolina, what's our new Attorney General's name?
Jessica Lynch.
Loretta Lynch. Loretta Lynch has filed charges against North Carolina for their laws. Yeah,
and that name just sounds racist.
But she's black.
Yeah,
but so she
okay.
No, but it really is.
So she owns it. She owns it.
She's proud of it.
She's about this tall too.
It was funny. So she is suing North Carolina, and they're doing it based on Title IX, the one about equality in sports and all that stuff. And I can't remember what the other thing is, but they're saying that if you go through with it, and they filed an injunction, so I think they have in North Carolina till next Monday. But the federal government has sued North Carolina and said, if you implement this, here's what you're losing, and here's what you're going after. And now with this, that now not just the U.S. Supreme Court, but that someone else is telling him, like, okay, you're a dick, and we've hated you for a long time, but now you're breaking the law, so we can actually come after you.
Yeah.
And he goes right to his hate group, which in this case was Liberty Council. Who was it? Let me find it, because I thought
because in Colorado Springs, I was by the Family Research Council.
Mm-hmm.
I saw your picture.
So I thought that was the hate group. I had this. That is my picture to go with this, and then it turns out he was with somebody else.
Liberty something.
He was with something. If it says Family or Liberty, you know that you're dealing with horrible people.
Right.
If they don't call us like us schmucks over here on the corner.
Yeah, it's actually fairly interesting. It's two people who have in their lives experienced discrimination who are suing on behalf of the government in North Carolina. It's Loretta Lynch, an African American woman, and I lost her, Vanita Gupta, who is a first generation Indian American.
Mm-hmm.
Loretta Lynch is, of course, the Attorney General. Vanita Gupta is the head of the Justice Department's Civil Rights Division.
Yeah,
so they're like on the team,
and just doing good things like these. I just thought this was great to tell them, and especially to hit North
Loretta
Carolina.
Lynch's speech is amazing. If you haven't seen it, like if you haven't seen her like stand up at that press conference and talk about why and what and what this lawsuit is going to entail, go look that up. It's everywhere. It's all over.
And one of the things is the douchehead governor of North Carolina, whose name I don't Pence. No, that's Indiana.
No. That's the periods for Pence.
Periods for Pence. He was like, "Oh, this is federal. This is federal."
About Matt Staver?
No. Pat McCrory.
Pat McCrory. Oh, he was like, "Oh, this is federal overreach and all this stuff," and she's like, "Yeah, so was ending slavery.
Right.
It's federal overreach. Like we have laws about this stuff, and you're breaking them. You're in it." But so she's been very good about like coming back with like. And that's what I've complained about with Obama all along is that he doesn't have his surrogates to go out and make his point for him.
Right.
So he doesn't always have to be the person in front of the camera. And all of a sudden, Loretta Lynch has like stepped up in a big way.
And she says, this is a quote, it was not so very long ago that states, including North Carolina, had signs above restrooms, water fountains, and on public accommodations. That's a quote from Loretta Lynch, a native of North Carolina, in perhaps the most impassioned speech she has given since taking the reins of the Justice Department last year. We have moved beyond those dark days, but not without pain and suffering and an ongoing fight to keep moving forward. Let us write a different story this time.
Yeah, it's just, but very interesting that like the federal government is coming down and being like, all right, you're fucking done. And especially with this Roy Moore, because he's just been like, it's time to exercise your Second Amendment rights and just shoot him like whoops.
Make it look like an accident.
That sounds wonderful. I like it. I like it.
And now it's cat crossing.
Speaking of Alabama.
Oh, we're just going to transition?
We're just going to go.
All right. There.
Gently.
Work. What the hell is that?
I don't know. Where'd you put it?
Oh, it's right here. It's this. It's boom.
Work. Speaking of Alabama.
Okay.
Rachel Maddow.
Oh.
I love
thinks
him.
a drag queen.
Housekeeping. Basement's flooded. Clayton gets a
says a drag queen
for that.
Should be the next governor of Alabama. That's right. Rachel Maddow.
She's on board.
Right there.
What would
Lord
she
and
do?
Savior.
Our Lord and Savior.
Thinks the next leader of Alabama might as well have a wig and not the powdered parliamentary variety.
It's right there on the screen.
The MSNBC host praised the activism of Ambrosia Starling, a native to the southern state who has become a thorn in the side of Roy Moore, the state's chief justice, who was suspended and charged with ethics violations.
What's the name again? Ambrosia Salad. What's it? What is it?
Starling.
Salad.
Sterling.
Ambrosia Starling.
Stand by.
Like Clarice.
Yeah,
Ambrosia.
Exactly. Just for today, pretend you've seen Silence of the Lambs. Just for 27 hours.
Moore, speaking about complaints filed against him, had called Starling, one of his chief critics, a known transvestite with a mental disorder. This is where his quotes about transvestitism and mental disorders. He expressed incredulously that that person can violate and has violated a court order and is bringing complaints against the Chief Justice. Starling responded, "I'm crazy for democracy." Crazy for democracy. Every bully always picks on the weakest kid in the room. He thought that was going to be a drag queen. A lot of people make that mistake.
Yeah, don't fuck with them.
It's a 6-foot man in heels. Look.
Sure, there's a better picture, but this is the one I just happen to catch. She's taking names down somewhere.
You want me to send you one from here?
Yeah, do that.
I like that picture, though.
From The Advocate.
She's very passionate about something.
I just, I really...
Looks like the other cast member to Designing Women.
Yeah.
It could be. Final season, they added her.
She was the understudy to every part.
I really thought that this article just brought together everything that is the show with Clayton McKee. It's got Rachel Maddow. It's got a drag queen.
Oh, this is a much better picture. Thank you very much. This
bigoted assholes. Like, it's just everything.
Oh, this is an impassioned picture. Stand by till you see this motherfucker.
Oh.
Those eyebrows. She could to live for those. Look at that.
In the segment on Monday, Maddow noted that Alabama's top 3 positions, governor, speaker of the House, and chief justice, were embroiled in either controversy or scandal, with the possibility of all 3 becoming vacant. Alabama is falling apart, said Lord Maddow.
Lord.
Here we go. Here she is.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic.
That a girl.
I would wait a minute to fuck with her.
As far as Maddow's concerned, Ambrosia Starling could have her pick of all 3 positions in the leadership of Alabama.
Yeah, because isn't the attorney general being sued for sexual harassment and his main witness is the governor? Isn't that the state where that's all going on?
You know what? The sad part is I have to look them all up.
Bentley is the governor. That's the one that she was doing the whole thing. Okay, got it, yeah.
Yeah. And like they're trying to get one out of office, but they would need the governor to sign off, but he's the only like witness for the defense.
Right. So yeah, it's an odd little circle of love and hate.
The sad part is every like politician who's currently in scandal and up on charges, I cannot keep them straight, and I have to Google them all.
Oh yeah,
I just can't.
There's too much going on.
Isn't that the one who was raping children? No, I don't know. I
gotta
look it up.
Yeah,
could you be more specific, please? Got to drill this down to.
How is that a thing? All right.
Yes.
Anyway, what else do I have? I thought that was a fun little gem. How about Budweiser? Can we talk about Budweiser?
Oh, they're changing a label if I'm not mistaken.
Here comes the king. Here comes the big number 1. I like that it was a big like sexy stripper song. For a second to none.
I'm not that old.
Oh, the Budweiser. They were kind of sexy in the day.
One though, right?
They
like
changed
the Bud Light's already changed.
No,
Now,
they're going to change the Budweiser label to say America.
Oh,
America.
Uh-huh.
The whole word?
That's America, yeah.
So, did Trump have anything to do with it?
You know what? I'm not sure.
Did he buy InBev?
I'm not sure.
Parent company
Busch
of
Gardens.
Anheuser-Busch.
You know?
Fine, thank you. How's yours?
That is not even an American-owned company anymore.
Well, they're predicting they're predicting the most American summer of our generation. So they've decided, the king of beers, that they no longer want to be called Budweiser just for the summer.
For the election season.
Just for the summer.
Right.
So they've already got labels out and they're ready to go. That's going to be, hey, can I have a Bud Light and an America?
Can I get an America?
Let me get America. That's how it's going to come out.
I need a picture of America.
My favorite is when serving said guests that order the Bud Heavy. I always say, would you like
Bud Heavy.
Yeah, Bud Heavy.
That makes me laugh every time.
So I asked said guest, would you like a Bud Heavy? And they're like, yeah. And I say, would you like me to put it in a glass? Well, it's already in a glass. Why do I need to waste another? And I say, well, that's neat.
Nope, the can will be fine.
That's neat.
That's neat.
That's right.
Nobody uses that word appropriately. That's neat.
Neat.
I use it a lot. I find the word neat to be neat.
Yeah. Because it keeps shut. You can be as shitty as you want to, and all you said was neat.
Well, yeah.
Michael threw groovy at me the other day, and I'm like, what the fuck happened to you?
Oh, somebody said bomb snort the other day, and I was like, what? I haven't heard bomb snort since the 70s.
I haven't ever heard that at all.
I can't help you.
I'm going to say
Amina in the chat room asked, what exactly is an American summer? The thing that, has been fed to us commercially forever and ever and ever is green lawns and picnics and pool parties and pastels
and sharks.
And sharks.
Cherry pie and baseball and
right.
Yeah.
Chevy trucks.
There's
and
a very
Chevy trucks, they play a role.
There's a very stereotypical picture
right
of middle America that Budweiser very much identifies with, and people that have a super nostalgia for the simpler times and when things were better and when men were men, and you know what I mean? Like that's their target demographic. So it's good advertising on them because the people that are wanting a more pure America, old white guys, are the ones that drink America beer.
Yeah, America.
And
I loved it when they called it Macro Brewery just to piss people. You know what I mean? Just to fuck with those people with those stupid beards.
Well,
I meant that with love.
I meant that.
But I was in Colorado. I saw enough. Get a fucking razor.
You know,
I feel like you're making a something in the top of your Frappuccino in your face.
You know, it was Coors.
It's a beer, and it's
it
not
was
art.
Coors that coined the term craft beer. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Because they were making Blue Moon, and they wanted to appeal to.
I'm just expecting it to be a Fosse number.
Budweiser beer, the king is second to none. Just say Budweiser, you've said it all.
Oh, that's it.
Here comes the king of beer, so lift your glass, let's hear the call. Budweiser beer's the
It's a
one
Fosse
that's
number.
leading
It
the
is.
rest.
I thought it was Heat Miser from that old
Yeah.
Christmas special. Right.
So loud and clear. There's only one Budweiser beer. There's only one Budweiser beer.
America.
But there's nothing left you can say.
Kick
America.
one ball change.
It really is. I'm not sure. Is this a chorus line?
When it
But
started,
it was a very catchy song when I was a kid.
I thought it was Liza Minnelli when it started. Is who I thought it was.
Well, it really is in this. Can Ned bring you beer?
I feel like has Olivia Gardens heard that number? Because she needs to.
Well,
We're gonna put that aside.
I think every drag queen should take a turn at that one. That's a good time. Barbara Seville could win a talent portion. Not that she hasn't before.
Right. She could. She could again.
This time it won't be a squeaker.
She don't want to play no more.
Oh Lord.
The Drowsy Chaperone was
What
a
else I
big
have?
number we did.
Yeah, no, you know what? I just found out recently that was Drowsy Chaperone. Like I'd seen, because I clearly couldn't take the time to watch any videos that ever got posted. So I'd seen like pictures, and I think I even like vacated one of the pageants that she did that at. Like, was that for Miss Gay Pride?
I don't remember what we
I
did.
don't remember.
Oh, actually, I think
I'm pretty sure I vacated the premises early.
No, you are correct. It was because we did over at Scottsdale at the venue, and that was the one that I built the sets for, and we rehearsed it all in my backyard.
all rehearsed.
Yeah, I went to that pageant.
Judy
I
and
did 3
Mickey
laps
style in
around
the
the room, and I was
backyard.
like, I gotta go. I can't do this.
We could do a show in the barn. Over Clayton's backyard
we did
because
a
I
hell
don't
of a
have a
number.
barn. Okay, I don't have a barn. How about just back?
We used bricks from Marks on the stage. It was fantastic.
Whatever works.
That's
Whatever
right.
works.
On a show on a budget. God damn it.
All right. Well,
What you got?
I'm going to finish my segment with one more, and it is just an overall feeling of how Twitter solves all problems. Now, here's a really fun thing. A friend of mine recently pointed out that Twitter is how she gets through to customer service anymore.
Oh.
Yeah.
You scream loud enough.
She'll go on and start screaming with hashtags and on Twitter and
Preceded by a pound sign.
preceded by a pound sign. And all of a sudden,
Hashtag. Oh, no. Pounds. That's right. It was pounds. My bad. Wrong story. Go ahead.
all of a sudden she's got a response. Whereas if you're on the phone with them, or if you God forbid, email them, that's never going to get to everybody.
Right. That's a very valid point.
That's never going to
Yeah,
happen.
you pound at home.
Yeah.
And they're gonna get back to you.
You're going to have yourself a free bacon donut by the
Not
morning.
tonight, Britta. Not tonight.
That's right, Brenda. Your bacon donut. Woo!
Yeah, and this one from just last week. I don't know if anybody noticed, but there was a little bit of Fox News uproar about an Old Navy ad.
Interracial?
Yep.
Yeah.
Increasingly, advertisers are reaching outside of white people for their models and actors.
Guess
and-
what? They have money too.
Benetton did it back in the
people.
80s. Like, what
That's
the
right,
fuck?
you're right.
Like,
Yeah.
But
it's like we
together as
recycle.
couples.
Well, no, it was just
Right.
a rainbow of
But wasn't
different races.
But Benetton was more. It seemed to me, and I was on board. It was all single people in color, not
Yeah.
together.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, they were
Right,
together as a
as
friendly
families.
group.
Yeah, as
right,
a friendly
families.
group.
Right.
But I mean,
Right.
that was the first international company that used Native American and Asian and different races
Right.
in their advertising more than just
other Asian.
Yeah, other Asians. Other than just your back then the skinny Kate Moss, like
Right.
and
Yeah.
and
Okay.
Marky Mark. So that's what you had for models back then.
So how did she get them fired up, Kat?
Well, as it turns out, a brouhaha started last Friday when Old Navy tweeted out a picture of an interracial family wearing its clothes, which, seriously, like, nobody with style is wearing those clothes. But that's another thing. It's not about the racial family. It's that they look like a nice young
Remind me to
couple.
take off my Old Navy jeans when the show
I'm
ends.
wearing Old Navy shorts right
Terribly
now.
sorry.
Like,
Okay, guys.
settle
If
down.
you're throwing stones, be
I
in the
got
same
this-
fucking
I
house.
got
Yeah.
that shirt in
I'm
a
looking.
All right.
No, I'm going to throw those stones because guess what? Old Navy.
Yeah.
Old. I didn't
The
tell
Navy
you.
was near this once.
I've been to San Diego.
Atta girl. No, but they're
sailors, seamen in general.
They're just casual lesbian clothes.
Seaman Week.
They're casual lesbian clothes.
Absolutely.
They do have a lot of plaid flannel in the winter.
I had to stop buying their. No, I had to stop buying their dress shirts because when I worked at Cash, I'd be like, "Oh, that bitch has my shirt."
Oh yeah.
Out it goes.
Yep.
Because now I've seen her stuffed into it. There's no way I'm wearing that shirt. No. Anyway, a brouhaha started when Old Navy tweeted an image of an interracial family wearing its clothes, unleashing, of course, the negative comments from some people, saying things like, "Old Navy, stop pushing race mixing, you degenerates."
Right, and it's Obama's fault.
Right. Scroll. Obama's a terrorist.
Right.
Yeah.
But then Twitter fought back. Supporters of Old Navy's ad campaign, including many interracial families and friends, tweeted messages with the hashtag #LoveWins, preceded by a pound sign. A term that, of course, went viral last year after the Supreme Court's marriage equality ruling. Fans of Old Navy's message took the hashtag to heart and tweeted messages of support, as well as personal photos showing their own diverse families. Yeah, go.
Oh, there's a really nice. Are you going to get to famous people that may have posted their picture?
I do not have famous people that may have posted their picture. Look at you,
John
adding
McCain's son. John McCain's son and his wife posted a picture of how horrified they were by the comments, and a handsome couple.
I don't know who that is. I know who that is, but I don't.
His son is in the military.
The military.
Okay.
And I think he put something on there like "eat it." Or,
Yeah,
it was just
actually,
something
no, he did put "eat it." Those were his words.
Do we know John McCain's son's name? Mr.
John
McCain?
McCain's son.
I would just say McCain Old Navy, and I'm sure you'll get there.
McCain
It
Jr.
is
I don't know,
Jack McCain.
Of course it is.
Oh, I bet. Oh, in fact,
trying to be the
he looks like his dad, for
Yeah.
Christ's sakes. So, hang on, I'll get this up here right quick.
But some of the responses were really good.
Yeah. And they would have to be. Like, it
So this is John McCain's son and his wife, his girlfriend?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His wife.
Wow, he does look like his dad,
Sure
especially when his dad was young. Wow.
It's practically an ad for the military. Join us. Get these teeth.
We have dental.
Yeah, exactly. I don't care what we have dental.
You want insurance? Join the army.
You can shoot things and get teeth fixed. There we go.
Amina said, I think Wanda Sykes was one of the people that put her picture up there too.
Oh.
For show our family.
Yeah, well, and the Twitterverse
should.
is wide and far-reaching, and full of celebrity and full of influential people. Really, you find
Other than us.
I actually
It's so weird because I thought it was just us.
Just us.
On Twitter recently, I was following local politics. I was following the budget vote and the whole kids care in and out.
Yeah.
Through Twitter.
And where did we land on 1, 2, 3? Up or down?
Oh, it's going. You have to go for it. Yes.
Okay. I've read so much, I can't decide.
Yeah, it's supposedly according to Aaron put a big thing on it and has explained it to me that it's
as good as it's gonna get.
It's something that if you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But if you don't, then teachers won't get. They just won't get the money.
I was just waiting for a final word because
they may not get the money if it passes.
Money anyway.
I voted no.
Yeah. And
I'm
the cool thing
I'm open about it. 1, 2, 3 is a local proposition in a special election. Like it's a big
Tuesday.
sham of bullshit. Next Tuesday, about educational funding, wherein if you vote yes, you're absolving the legislature from not paying the money that was already voter mandated.
Yeah.
You are limiting the amount of potential funds that can be appropriated to education. If certain criteria are reached, then the whole thing's out the window anyway, and the legislature can do whatever the fuck they want anyway. Yeah. I voted no. We can talk about it later.
Oh, I know.
I'm just voting.
It's just been so tough.
I was voting, so I just am going with it.
I read both sides of it, and I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, do these kids
Because I look
does
at
anybody
both
get
sides
money
and
one
go,
way or the other?
Well, and they had the United Parent Council, which is a organization of parents within the district that my kids go to. They sent a rep to, kind of talk about and start the conversation about 1, 2, 3 to the last PTO meeting, and I was front row, full of questions for the man. I'm like, hey, what about this? Hey, what about this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I
Did they say, young man, you have the floor?
Yeah.
Your car is ready.
Son, shouldn't you be in class? Is what they said.
Your car is ready.
Are you cutting class?
We mentioned earlier Wanda Sykes and her wife, and I just wanted to show a quick picture of them. which I found not part of the Old Navy Twitter mess or Twitter feed or anything, but that just is a picture I found of them. So again,
hashtag activism works sometimes.
Preceded by a pound sign.
Preceded by a pound sign.
Preceded, not proceeded.
Coming up next on NPR, our Dusty Muffin segment.
I may have said proceeded. That's all the shit show I'm going to bring you today.
Pound sign.
Pound sign. Dusty Muffin. You gotta listen to last week's show. NPR, the lady didn't know what she was talking about, so she was trying to read out like hashtag crushed. She's like, it's called crushed, preceded by a pound sign.
I had no idea what that meant.
No idea what she was reading out loud. But she thought she'd break it down for you in case you.
I feel like that's what we sound like sometimes. We just
I wish we could pull that off.
Did you have?
I got nothing.
Okay, so what I had saved earlier today, I've got some pictures because earlier we had a story about a woman who'd gone to the dorm room and it was a school thing, and she got in the wrong dorm. I just pulled up some random pictures that came up. But actually, it was a post I got where you won't believe these crazy pictures, and I edited it down to the better ones. These are just some fails at different schools, and I thought we'd just go through and share them all. My favorite one is at the very end, but we'll start with this. Emory School, the dictionary is the only place where success comes before hard work. Nobody knows how the alphabet works at this school, apparently. Just a guess. This was a picture. Oh, not this one. No, I was close. School uniforms are for sale at this store here.
Well, what school is that? Because I feel like
just
School of Hard Knockers. That's one.
Okay, now in the last one, after deep thought, it's the word hard that throws them up because it's the only place that success comes before work.
Right.
It's just that they use the word hard.
But still.
But they were on the right. Again, they Gene Simmons their way into a follow-up. They just got it hard before the sentence was over.
Southbendon.com would like you to check their website out about the 15 best things about pubic schools. They're very busy. Don't forget, it's back to school time. Stock up on your Trojan Magnums.
Oh, God.
Back to school.
Listen.
There you have it.
That's
We've
important.
all been to that high school.
Right before book fair, you got to get your covers on. And it's never too early to start beer pong class in school.
Oh, my God.
Thought that was good.
Oh, and the best thing is probably Kool-Aid in there, so those kids are strung out on sugar. Is that one kid's about to rape a dinosaur? What is he doing to that
I don't know,
thing?
some T-Rex. I don't know what he's doing here.
It's like pulling its
showing
head
you
off.
on the T-Rex.
But I love that they still blurred out because they didn't sign the consent forms.
Yeah.
Now this one made me think of Kat because obviously you're the advocate for reading and literacy in a lot of the schools. A reader today is a leader
Tomorrow.
I love ya tomorrow.
Clearly, a lot of Jews live in that area too.
This reminded me of when Al would go back to school. I figured this was probably part of your...
the wine part, yeah.
Yeah, I figured that was probably you. This is another irritant of all of ours.
This would have been Kenai white wine down the
Mommies
bottom.
need their wine.
Lowest part on the right.
No, God.
Just read it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Won't even
Fail.
know.
Not okay.
This is also good.
fail.
Spelling bee people need to be, held up in accolades for what they've done. So, congratulations, spelling bee winners.
Wow.
Okay, that's a word that I cannot spell correctly. If it wasn't for autofill, I would never spell congratulations right. That's why you'll always get congrats for me written out on a card.
Sure,
There's that.
Because otherwise, you got to go find that dictionary where success comes before work.
Way to go.
I don't know.
Nicely done.
This school, I'm not sure who they've hired to fix their signs, but when the word is right above the sign, you think you could spell it right. But no.
Now it sounds like we have a
God.
disease.
Yeah.
That's right. The Ganger campus.
Ganger Will Robinson.
It burns a little when you pee here.
Some kids get preferential treatment.
Oh, yeah, there you are.
Yeah.
And they should.
But what were they going for there?
I don't know what they were doing. Our children.
Probably our.
I would have. They have to be our children.
You got to work really hard to spell our WHORE.
I've got a fourth grader, like you should see.
Is he making signs for Park Elementary?
He very well could have written any
This
of
one,
these.
you know how we make acronyms out of different things? Like POTUS is be the President of the United States, and FLOTUS. And we have acronyms. This one kind of bothered me. Squirt.
I do that when I do silent, quiet, uninterrupted, independent reading time because that means porn.
Right.
Yeah.
Followed by
That's a really
squirt.
long way to say porn.
Yeah.
Squirt.
What do you do when you have when the old
You might want to stand back. It's been a couple days.
when it's time to retire?
Housekeeping.
Wow.
Oh, hands are in the air.
When the old hooker school falls down, you have to
the
get
whores are
the
first.
new hooker school has to be built.
Oh.
Oh, I agree with
This-
Aaron. Your children. come first instead of horror.
Oh, your children,
I
not
can see that.
horror children.
Sure.
Well, maybe they were
Maybe.
out of consonants.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm out of I don't believe in that one either.
I don't know.
This one I'm not. I don't know what's
more.
going on at Bonneville Elementary, but apparently it's MILF Week. I'm not sure what's going on.
Wow.
Well,
There
I
you
think
have
that
it.
says it all.
Yeah. Going back to a picture.
I know where I'm going to be in January.
Yeah.
Going back to our picture.
Boozy moms that like them.
Porky.
But MILF.
Back to school sales once again. You get all your basics, including Trojans, right there for $4.59 a pack.
That's cheaper than the last place.
I know, but well, we're
Smaller pack.
You know that all you need for back to school now is like a lifetime supply of Axe body spray and 2 pens.
Yep. And I'm actually in.
I feel like the condoms aren't a bad idea, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to add those to shopping
But
list.
doesn't the Axe body spray kind of work as a prophylactic?
No.
I don't
Yeah, but have you met any high school girls?
Yeah, because
they're kind of dumb.
Does it have the
high.
opposite effect on
Yeah,
me
junior high.
that it does on
Yeah.
them? Because I want to run screaming from the room. Does it make them dry hump them like our girl in
I don't even
Brittany?
This one, I'll let you read it and you figure out what they're committed to.
Oh, okay. Hi.
No. Learn how to spell committed.
Oh, yeah.
They're apparently not committed to much here at this school. We've run into this,
That's
I'm
a
sure.
permanent sign, too.
A
That
store
sucks.
here and there. College, this way. It's the lingerie section. You go over there. This one was a little concerning, but it makes me almost want to go to college. You buy a gift card, you get a free 3-way. I'm not sure what that means.
There you have it. All right.
And if
That is pretty much how that works, though. It's usually around.
Free 3-way. or
Even the
$5
least
off
popular
your
people
next
get a
visit.
3-way by the
Yeah.
end of the second term.
And then finally, this picture.
Even the ones with one hump get a little action.
This is the last picture, and I thought
Because
this
there's
was
always a Dungeons and Dragons club that doesn't know what a girl really looks like.
I like it.
a slogan. A slogan is always what a school needs, because their slogan here at the Laverne Heights Elementary School is "Teaching today, touching tomorrow."
Oh,
Wow.
nudity.
I want to go to Laverne Heights, though, for my high school.
I think I still have it in a keepsake box, but in high school I was part of Future Business Leaders of America.
FBLA.
Yeah, and of course, the leader of our group in North Texas at the time made the shirts for us all to wear this national convention.
And it said NAMBLA?
No, they just like that other photo you had, they misspelled tomorrow, but it was 2 M's.
Oh.
And I'm like, wow, future business leaders, and you
can't
have the
even spell.
students that are pointing out that the shirts you just spent thousands of dollars on
Right.
are misspelled.
Misspelled.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
With a big thing of white out there.
Yeah.
Which looks even worse from Squirt. Quiet,
Stop it with the
interrupted.
whiteouts.
Yeah.
There's
Stop
that.
the white
We've
out.
already covered that.
I got to make some white out. My
You're
t-shirt
not
spelled
tricking
incorrectly.
Oh. All right. So we're wrapping up the show. We come to the last segment. It goes a little something like this.
And now, thoughtful vulgarity, where we in the studio try to make ourselves slightly less shallow, which is not hard to do. We will ask one question of the panel while fucked up drunk. Because you know at home how well it goes when important questions come up several hours after alcohol has been served. Politics, religion, why not? What could possibly go wrong? Who could you offend? Good luck.
So my question comes from a conversation. Oh, I didn't know they were gay. I just thought they were fucking. I didn't know they were gay. About the movie Spotlight. And like, you know, the movie's about the Boston Herald, Boston Globe investigating the priests, the Catholic priests, and finding out they were molesting children. And I like, when like the conversation came up about the movies, and a gay friend of mine was like, "Oh, is that set in the 70s?" And I was like, "No, it's kind of in the 2000s." And so like, what is it about? Like, is it a subculture thing that we all, or did everybody kind of already know that the priests were piddling with the little boys, or was that news to anybody, or is it like?
Well, no, it seems like it was more. We talked about it. It was swept under the rug. Nobody actually. We don't want to talk about it. We know it happened, so it's always been happening. But obviously, nobody wanted to talk about it until it was brought. Like, we've got facts and pictures and studies. Like, we know.
Right. But who's okay? So we're gonna start with you. So,
Okay.
like, so What are your thoughts on that? Like, were you shocked by this story when it broke in the news? Was it something that you already knew was going on and you're like, oh, the world caught up? Like, where did you fall on the train of the sex scandal with the church? From a level of, that is breaking news to, oh my God, Anderson Cooper's gay.
Not breaking news. Anderson Cooper.
Not breaking news at all.
Yeah.
No, I don't remember having like a stark reaction to it. I don't know. I have a willingness to believe anything horrible.
Because most often it's true.
Right.
But like, do you remember the day you thought like, oh wow, priests, that's not good. Like, you know what I mean? Or did you just have like well,
but it was way before 2000.
I certainly believe that, and probably always have, that it's possible of anyone. Like trusted people are not trusted people to me. So I don't know that, and I certainly don't remember any specific moment where I'm like, oh, that's a thing, where I'm like actually thinking about that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, none of it surprises me. Like, horrible shit that people do very rarely surprises me.
Yeah, but not that it was like a surprise about human nature, but like, okay, go ahead. So,
well, it's the same.
Jason.
I mean, remember what was that movie? Was God, now I can't. It was a movie from the '90s about the 4 young boys, but they grew up. And
Sleepers.
Sleepers.
Oh, wow,
so
yeah.
I mean, that movie was from the '90s, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so the stories that came out in the mid 2000s about the priest that the movie Spotlight was based on, it was like, this isn't new news. Like, this isn't.
2001, by the way.
What, the Sleepers came out?
No, Spotlight. I'm sorry.
Spotlight?
That the story.
2001 was about
yeah.
the story, right? My bad.
Well, no, and I mean, I remember even as a kid, there were those off-color jokes about priests always fucking little boys, like
altar boys.
Yeah,
right.
like
Okay.
I mean, I remember. I mean, growing up in a lot of different kinds of churches, that was always kind. I mean, we knew it as a. I knew it as a young kid, like the
right?
Because we made fun of Catholics because I was raised Baptist.
Oh, and in fairness, I'm like lifelong atheist. I've never been to a church service of any kind ever.
Oh,
right.
I wish I could say that.
But that's why I wanted your like, as someone who's probably not been in the like, I know you're not Catholic.
No.
And you're not a gay man. Like, was this like, is this a secret that we were all keeping?
Sure.
Right. Well, depends on who's asking. But is this
depends on your definition, sir or ma'am.
Is this something that like that boys were keeping a secret, or is this, you know what I'm getting at, or was this something that was like, because you're taking it as like, I had no opinion, but people do bad things all the time.
I've got a couple of things like separating me from this. Like I have no religious background at all.
Right.
Yeah, like the closest I have are the Mormon adjacency.
Right.
And I certainly believed every single one of them would have molested anyone given the chance.
Yeah.
Like there were some creepy fuckers that lived in my neighborhood. Yeah, and so I wouldn't have been a young boy target of that. Like I wouldn't have been fearful of that as being an altar boy, because I wouldn't have been an altar boy either way.
Right. Oh, and Mystic River is kind of on that topic too. Marina?
It's Mariah.
Oh, I'm sorry. My apologies. You could just write that down somewhere.
Learn my name.
He likes it to rhyme with vagina. Marina, vagina.
Wow. I didn't think of it like that. That's creepy.
Well,
it just happened.
Nice.
I am going to go along with Jason on that. I mean, I think it is something that has just always been in the subconscious. Like, it was just always there. None of this was a surprise. There have always been jokes and different things, but I think that a lot of that stemmed from within the Catholic Church, the fearful of nuns, the fearful of like the way that they were
the nuns
presented.
hit you on the knuckles with the ruler, but the
priests
the priest shoved up your ass. Like, this is weird.
Like there was a lot of, I don't know. It was. I have nothing to.
Well, it's kind of like Republicans. Like, it's not news anymore when they're doing something like sleeping with a young boy, or
they just have a wide stance.
It's like,
or they're a serial molester.
Like, oh, thou doth protest too much.
Yeah. And what was the chick in the news last week or 2 weeks ago that was one of the ones opposing the whole bathroom transgender thing, and come to find out she had child porn, and now she's going to go.
Oh, right. I remember that story. Yeah.
Like
I don't remember
some
exactly
crazy,
who it was.
like a Republican senator from one of the southern.
Thou doth protest too much.
Yeah. Exactly. Very.
It's like a Mad Lib. Just fill in.
Right.
Southern Republican.
Right.
And
religious.
I think we know
religious.
Democrats do.
Complained
creepy
about
shit,
some
too.
kind of
We just
sexual
don't go-
deviancy.
we
He had
don't
his
make
fist up the puppet's ass.
A big.
Yeah, a Democrat that's a child molester doesn't ever go out and say publicly,
Exactly.
"We've got to protect our children."
There's something
they just
about
do
Democrats that are like, well, maybe we just don't bring it up.
Yeah, maybe.
Don't
make a big deal
I'm
about
not
it.
going to be opposed
Quit making
to
big
that.
campaigns about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to preach on family values, and I'm getting it on the
I
side.
was probably too young, but I remember always like there being jokes. And when you're young and you don't
Like
understand
Carlin
something,
and different. I mean, I remember that kind of. I don't
George
know.
Carlin.
George Carlin.
no, I know, but I don't know where you're going with my
no,
thoughts.
Just no, but as far as
But
like the
George
jokes,
Carlin
I was trying
jokes.
to think of
Right, but
different people.
but even what I was getting at was I remember there being jokes, and though I may not have understood them, I remember there being jokes in regards to altar boy. Somebody walks into a church or to go to confession, and he finds an altar boy, and he says, "Hey, what does the priest give for a blowjob?" And he goes, "Oh, usually a Snickers and a Kit Kat." You know, I remember those jokes,
Yeah.
but I didn't understand really when being younger. I didn't really understand what that meant, and now I'm like, okay, but wherein there's a joke, there's reality.
Right, and if there's all these people that were like molested and like kind of crying out for help, and it went to the point of like just becoming something everyone just knew. But like, when you think about Spotlight, it just obviously came out in video and stuff that it's now
I wonder
the
if it's on
topic of
Netflix.
conversation.
I'll be able to find it.
You got to get the DVD portion, have it mailed to you. So that's the thing
did
is
not
like
sign
the
up for
guy
that.
that I was talking to was like, why are people shocked? Like, I thought this took place in the 70s. Like, who by the year 2000? Who are these people that are like
Not getting it.
there's 80 priests and like I really went into his like mentality of like he missed the whole news cycle. He might have grown up Catholic. I didn't ask that. Now that I think about that, that was probably the better follow-up question. That he was so like, how did no one know? How is this a news story?
Well,
but there's jokes about it. There's
Yeah.
already movies about it. There's all this proof. Like, was everyone just sitting there going, no, it can't be true?
And
Sure.
there is a certain amount of that kind of denial because you think to yourself, you know, here in the year of Armato, 2001.
Yeah, the year of Armato. I like that.
I am enjoying more of this.
Like, this can't actually still be happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what you're thinking as you're going about your day. Like, this doesn't actually still happen, and then you find out that it does. And
Yeah.
I can see that being shocked.
And you're wondering why the priest that's been moved 14 times.
Right.
Well, why would you keep moving him? Because he keeps fucking the kids. But now, like, Ananta's saying about, or Amina said about imams and mosque leaders, and Ananta's saying about Hindu spiritual leaders, and it always is people with power. But when you add that little bit of, like, I am the chosen vessel of God, you know, and I don't know if that's true with, like, Hindu spiritual leaders or imams, but it is with priests, that they're infallible. You know, you get the infallibility of the church mixed in with your confessor. Like, that's just fucking weird.
Right.
And that's what makes that joke even funnier. I hate to compliment the jokester on that one, but what's he give for a blowjob?
Yeah.
You know, Kit Kat cake with some M&M stuffed inside of it.
That was a lovely cake, by the way.
But it really does, like, bring that question of who didn't know, and, like, did we miss the opportunity? Like, were we busy fighting for one? Like,
right, look of distraction.
People are fighting for rights over here, and we're leaving these people that we knew were molested and abused, and we just kind of left them as a dirty joke for 30 years. You know what I mean? Like,
sure.
How long did we all ignore that as a society that no one was like, shouldn't someone help them? Like, it just struck me as odd, and it was from someone else's point of view that I was like, well, I just kind of always assumed. Like, everybody, like, teachers, like, there's all those people in power that you knew that were molesting if you were, like, on the other side of it. Like, you knew what was going on. Like, should we have unionized earlier?
I don't know if you already brought this up, but I would also imagine that within... So let's just go back in time. So, like, say in the 50s, though it went on long before that. Let's say in the 50s you were in the Catholic Church and you were one of the altar boys, and it happened to you, and then you survived, though maybe mentally scarred or whatever, and you get out and you start your own family, and then you're still in the Catholic Church, and then the son happened, and the cycle. But you don't worry about it because, well, I did it, so he'll be fine. He'll be fine. You'll be fine. And if it's ever brought up, I'm sure it's like, well, just buck it up.
Well,
son.
the worst part of, and the other dark part of that story that you're telling is that adult is probably going to be an abuser.
No, agreed. I totally agree with that.
So that kid that's born, if that person didn't get help, is probably going to send them back to the church.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But it's going to come. But there's not going to be any help from the father that experienced it and should be like a voice of reason. Like if he hasn't gotten help, then.
Because he's so ashamed, he's going to continue to hide whatever he had, and he's not going to get help, and he's not going to talk about it, other than if it's ever brought up to him.
That's where you get to that cycle of abuse.
Right, it's just that whole
really
cycle.
ugly.
So no, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Well, that was a light little story to end on. Did anybody else have anything to comment on that?
But it is dark for a lot of
Downer. Wah, wah.
It is dark, very dark. Anyway, it is.
Well, we touched on it like 2 or 3 different times because I forgot it like twice. But yeah, exactly. Show me on the wine glass. No, I'm not saying the answer to all my problems are in the bottom of this wine glass, but I'm saying I should at least check.
We should look. We should look.
I would look. I think it makes complete sense.
I'm just saying that my hands are visible nearly the whole time.
Yeah, and people don't want to believe things from people that are held in
such high regard, positions of power, and you want to leave your children with these people because you got shit to do.
That's true.
Well, and it's what you've been taught.
Yeah.
That it's safe and okay.
Well, if you had shit to do, you didn't get it done because you spent 3 hours and 10 minutes listening to us banter about all kinds of stuff. But thank you for doing it. Everybody in the chat room, Amina, Annette, Joe D, Mama Di, Aaron from LA, so many people. Thank you for being with us and all around the country. Brazil and Japan listening earlier from around the world and all the ships at sea. We thank you very much. We'll be back next Tuesday night and hope to pull this all together once again with wine and maybe cake. Who knows?
No more cake.
Happy birthday, Al.
Good night, Harrison.
We'll leave you with his thoughts. We will see you next Tuesday.
You stumble through that.
You've been listening to the show on Q Talk America.